In this magic academy, even giving someone the wrong look can start a fight because the competition is insane. So when Sunwoo tells his classmate that her ice magic isn't even cold, it obviously leads to a duel. Though honestly, Sunwoo is only happy to see what she's capable of. Hayoung attacks first, firing as many ice bolts as she can, but Sunwoo dodges them all with ease and mocks her for her predictable attack pattern. That's when she gets really pissed and unleashes a giant ice spear straight at him. Sunwoo barely has time to leap out of the way and save his ass, shocking her with his agility. She just can't understand how he avoided her spell. Still, she pulls an icy Naruto-style Rasengan move to catch him, convinced he can't win if all he does is run. That's when Sunwoo leaps straight at her, finally making his attacking move. When their spells collide, the massive mana output causes an explosion. Sunwoo completely crushes her spell and stops just in time to save her pretty face from some irreversible damage. But Sunwoo wasn't always this OP. Before his regression, he arrived in this world as a total extra, living a peaceful life, and hoping the hero would handle everything so he could eventually return to Earth. Unfortunately, the hero failed miserably and died in the battle against the final boss. With the death of the hero, the fictional world tears itself apart, burning away to ashes. The system came up with an alarming notification of a complete failure of the main storyline. With this failure, the world is forced to reset. Before Sunwoo could comprehend this message, his reality shatters apart. The next time he wakes up is on a bus as an academy student. When he comes out and sees the Magic Academy before his eyes, Sunwoo realizes that he has regressed 7 years into the past. In other words, bro not only got his ass isekai'd into the novel, and now he has regressed too. The big question plaguing him is Seojin's death, which shouldn't happen because even in the original novel, the hero lives and kills the final boss in a ferocious battle. The fact that he died implies a major shift in the story, especially when there's no telling what will happen in the new world. Sunwoo wonders if the world will be destroyed again, forcing another reset. But this time, he's hell-bent on making sure the protagonist lives by playing an active role, all for the sake of creating a new ending. In order to do that, he first needs to interact with the key characters of the story. Sunwoo tries to talk to a chic baddie only to end up being given a death stare right off. She's immediately repulsed with him trying to act like they know each other when this is the first time they've ever met. Our boy's confidence is obliterated. She takes issue with him trying to spark conversation, and when Sunwoo denies that, she also demands him to stop staring at her. At this point, only a gunshot could do more damage than her words, and Sunwoo knows that getting close to the key characters wasn't going to be easy. The first class initiates with class representatives being summoned to the stage. 3 of them walk up. The first one is the radiant second year, Lee Seojin, a personal student of Archmage Kim Jinchul. Seojin's presence is pretty well known even prior to the main plot of the story, which makes Sunwoo realize that he's just one of those overpowered fantasy protagonists. The second representative is the gorgeous, fairy-like Ginger. But make no mistake, she's no petite angel. Sunwoo notes that even her smiles are precisely calculated. Finally, the third representative is the rank 1 senior who hasn't lost his title in 3 years. He's your quintessential nerd guy that happens to be tough in every anime. This is the only person Sunwoo has little data about, remembering that he didn't share much presence in the original story. All 3 representatives are made to swear an oath, while Sunwoo notices the girl sitting next to him boiling with anger. She was hot and not exactly the freaky kind. Using this opportunity, Sunwoo nags her with a shameful comment. She catches the bait and immediately finds her ego threatened, demanding that he clarify. After a moment's thought, our boy activates his trap card, Baddie Rizzer 9000, and openly tells her that she's better than the other 2 representatives on stage. She thinks that this guy is actually a creep, especially when he has no idea how well they can use magic. Sunwoo obviously has to pretend he hasn't, but he doubles down by saying that his instincts are in tune, and that he can judge just by looking at someone. It seems that his trap card really didn't work out because instead of feeling happy, the girl erupts at him for his ridiculous comments. Bro is genuinely starting to realize that he's gotta switch approach fast, because this shit isn't working at all. Switching topics, he openly asks if she's been struggling about choosing her career path as of late. This information isn't something this dude should possess. The girl's memory is jogged the moment he remembers this guy's name, and with the deadly stare, she threatens him not to speak to her anymore. Saying so, she gets up to leave, while our boy realizes that he's absolutely not the charming prince he thought he was. In fact, he just fucked up everything from the beginning. The new semester at the Magic Academy starts with an assessment test on the first day. This test further determines everyone's ranks. It's like introducing real pressure for the students to show how they rack up in front of the school. Some students are panicking, while our boy acts all high and mighty. Sunwoo intends to break into the top 10 ranking of the second-year students. Just in his past life alone, he managed to receive numerous offers to climb up to B rank. so he definitely didn't want to seem average against these losers. Bro is about to run a bunch of fade checks around the entire academy. Anyway, the test starts off with one mage firing off a bunch of ice bolts and taking down multiple dummies in the assessment test. Watching her obliterate the test really impresses the spectators. Unsurprisingly, she's a top-ranking second-year student. The rest of the second-year batch is called up next, each being summoned according to name call. The first person we get to see is Korean Dakota Johnson, the same key character who bullied our boy earlier. She uses her fire magic to stun the rest of the students, dwarfing their expectations. Even at her level, she's considered a pro just for her magic output. In fact, if Seojun, the literal protagonist, wasn't present here, Ara would have maintained legendary status. Speaking of the main character, the swordsman shows up on the field before exploding with a speedy lunge. The three dummies running get backshot after backshot with each swing of his sword, cutting them to pieces. This guy ended the fight pretty damn quick, so much so that even Ahura was left stunned. The thing about her is that she's pretty skilled on her own level, but this Seojun is already a professional mage for his level. She's always been in his shadow, so it's unsurprising that she feels the way that she does. Next up is our boy's turn, as his name is called to show up. Excited, Sunwoo is ready to rumble and show what he's made of. Some of the teachers and examiners watching remember him as the unremarkable kid with not much promise. According to the given data, they learn that he's proficient in enhancement magic, which is strange since this dude pulled up empty-handed. The dummies materialize before Sunwoo. The first thing he does is materialize magic in his hand, while his teachers call him ordinary for switching his main style. But then their eyes open in shock the moment they see this man invent the Rasengan even before Minato Namikaze does. He has compressed manifestation magic in his hand. The first stage of manifestation magic is, well, shocker, manifestation itself. It involves the compressing of mana for accurate control of the stage that comes after. Release. That's the advanced technique of manifestation, something only a veteran mage would use in combat. Watching him use such a high-level technique stunlocks Ahura and Seojun. They have no idea how a second year would know such a high-level technique, as Sunwoo fires his blast with the intention of vaporizing the dummies in one go. In a twist of fate, or rather plot, Bro's attack fades away before it even reaches the dummies. The spectators can hardly contain their laughs, bursting in uproar as they ridicule him for lacking mana and acting like he was a hotshot. Bro had only one chance to make himself seem cool in front of a bunch of newbie kids, and ended up causing his own downfall. Suddenly, a bunch of different blue screens pop up in front of him, as Sunwoo questions why this stupid system didn't appear sooner to save his damn life. In the next scene, our boy's back in his dorm room, questioning why the system opened at the time that it did. He doesn't get why there's deviation from the original story. By the way, the message that popped up in his notifications back then was regarding his outsider's privilege trait being unlocked. It also initiated his main scenario sequence, and earned him 3,000 points for progressing back 7 years. The system also gave him Jester's talent as an achievement, which is pretty funny because it's just calling him a clown for a living. A bunch of different points later, Sunwoo is haunted by the blue screens, and even more haunted by the crowd ridiculing his ass. All of them were now aware of his face and identity, so Bro couldn't act nonchalant ever again. The most interested in our boy is Seojun, the protagonist himself. 4 key characters including him are now eyeing him down, netting him a few thousand points more. Basically, Sunwoo earned 10,000 points in a flash. Now to use these points, something called Outsider's Privilege must be unlocked. It's a skill only accessible to someone who got his ass yeeted into this world. Sunwoo is the only candidate fit for that role. These points are racked up via the achievement system, and by earning enough achievements. Long story short, the more fame you end up with, the more reputation you get, and the more points you earn. Another aspect of the Outsider's Privilege is being able to access the point shop, completely changing the game. This overpowered system literally allows you to purchase skills and items with just one universal currency. Sunwoo's glad that he got so many points, but not so glad that the entire gang and their mother laughed at him like he was some kind of court jester. Having regressed, Sunwoo completely forgot about his lacking mana reserves in this era. At the same time, he's never received so much attention like this before, even in his earlier lives. It's not too shabby he earned points on top of that. Assessing his abilities, he pops open a status window where the system shows him his current profile. Unfortunately, our boy's stats are completely reset from his previous life, and he's really seething that he has to start over again. Sunwoo locks in and realizes that this is the perfect opportunity for him to wisely invest his stats thanks to the knowledge of his previous life. In the world of the novel, 4 mage systems exist, those being enhancement, manifestation, support, and finally summoning. Enhancement strengths, weapons, or physical stats best used in close quarters combat. Manifestation is materialization of magic, and eventually releasing it, a common and more traditional style. Summoning and support is to act cool and edgy with special creatures and weird abilities. Overall, Sunwoo's preference is especially manifestation, because he likes looking cool while casting spells. Now that he's a manifestation type, he had to prioritize leveling up his mana stat the most. Suddenly, the system pops up to remind him how over 300 people were influenced by his little stunt on stage. More and more people being impressed by him earns him points, which means that acting like a complete goofball on stage isn't so bad after all. Bro thinks he's landed a complete jackpot by being goofy. The number shoots up to 400, which is a number that trumps the size of the student body. Fearing the worst, Sunwoo checked the broadcast on YouTube and realized that the whole thing was streamed live. Dude is suffering from success because although he got popular, everyone's making fun of him. Still, the points are something to be proud of, which make him wonder if he can snag a few more. Becoming a keyboard warrior, Sunwoo starts mashing buttons and thinks that he can make another huge display by purchasing a certain something. The following day, everyone around the academy immediately judges him, wondering if it's the same dude from yesterday. Last night, Sunwoo was trolling everywhere he possibly could. Thanks to getting more attention, he scored 5,000 points. Entering his class, he finds everyone seated except him. Sunwoo receives everyone's attention. One blonde hotshot calls him a punk. But instead of bullying him, Bro calls him funny for entertaining the whole class and refreshing the mood. They're genuinely curious how Sunwoo ended up losing out on mana, even accusing our boy of being a trust fund baby with no talent. This is Park In-won, an idiot who ends up a crazy psycho character in the beginning stages of the novel. Sunwoo knows that nothing good can come out of arguing, so he keeps his mouth shut. But then this French fried hairfuck reveals his true nature, officially dubbing Sunwoo as the dumbass of their class. He wants Sunwoo to be his pet, serving In-hwan every time he calls his name. Stepping up to help him is the charismatic Seojin himself. He's pissed off that In-hwan doesn't stop messing around bullying others even after being told not to. The dickhead taunts Seojin for acting like a genius hero, and that the average Joe like In-hwan should immediately obey him for his status. Before Seojin could say anything, French Fry and his lackeys run off, leaving our boy with the protagonist at last. Seojin checks on his condition, and remembers Sunwoo from the test ceremony the other day. He also remembers the video that was streamed. Not a good look for our boy, who is dying of embarrassment as if his nudes got leaked or something. Seojin comes to the princess's rescue, assuring him that the person who spread the video is a moron. Their conversation concludes there, but Sunwoo forcibly grabs his arm. And get this man straight up asks Seojin to do it with him. This story is one more dialogue away from turning into BL. Sunwoo acts like a damsel in distress who begs the protagonist to be on his team for the semester's dungeon class. The genius talent is stunned, questioning his intentions, before Sunwoo confidently shares that it will be beneficial for both of them. Thinking about it for a bit, the hero declines, basically calling Sunwoo unreliable as a teammate. Our boy presses on, highlighting that there are two main reasons for him to team up with him. Offering him a chance, Seojin is happy to hear them both. You might be thinking our boy is going to pull out some expert manipulator tactic here, but nah. Bro's first reason is literally that he's dead last in the second year so far. Seojin thinks it's an embarrassing reason for someone to team up, but then comes Sunwoo's confident reveal of adjustment points for joint tests. If the top first student paired up with the bottom most students, both of them will receive significant amplification in their scores. Now this is something that baffles Seojin. Even then he believes the risk is way too high by teaming up with this noob. Popping his second reason, Sunwoo reveals that Ara has already personally recruited 2 low-ranking students. This means she's playing smart with her specialty being AoE magic anyway. Anyone can deduce how easy it is going to be for her. Then our boy whips out a third reason, even though he clearly stated that he had 2. Sunwoo points to himself, assuring the protagonist deadass that his skills are commendable for a bottom ranker. Now it's important to remember that Seojun isn't Deku or some shonen protagonist with the power of friendship. Bro genuinely laughs it off in Sunwoo's face for making that point. Although he does agree to forming the team with one simple condition, which is simple, Seojin is going to be responsible for selecting the rest of their teammates. It's an easy win for our boy who shakes hands on that condition, with the system remarking how Seojin feels even more interested in our boy now. In the next scene, class is in session. The teacher talks about how there were only 2 main magic systems in the past instead of 4. This grouping eventually collapsed for a single reason, which she quizzes the students on. Because our boy is practically smurfing, Sunwoo answers the call and shares how Hulkum, the first mage in the 18th century, changed the course of magic itself. The teacher goes on yapping and yapping, while Sunwoo internalizes how these classes and formulas were going to be exceptionally difficult, even for genius talents like Seojin. However, our boy had an easy benefit. The outsider's privilege allowed him quick translation and conversion at will. Bro is a walking cheat code, and his classmates are starting to compare him to Hermione from Harry Potter. Some of them still ridicule him for being dead last, pissing off Sunwoo. Class is concluded and transitions to a lunch session. The students exiting the hall are on their way when suddenly, Seojin grabs our boy for a celebratory lunch. The next thing we see is the two of them walking up to their seats. There's a dude waving his hand gesturing to them to come over. This person is Shin Youngjin, who is also one of the key characters of this storyline and coincidentally Seojin's bestie. Unfortunately, they ended up splitting up for this exam because two high rankers won't get many points for teaming up. Sharing a table across from him is Sunwoo, who receives this guy's full attention because of the video. Youngjin is baffled how these two ended up getting close to each other, and the moment he learns that our boy has actually teamed up with Seojin, his world is rocked. Youngjin thinks it is ridiculous for his best friend to try this hard for first place, when he could easily score first place even without the point amplification system. However, the protagonist admits that he's wary of Ahura's Sigma grind set to beat his ass for first place. He even shares the situation of her using two low rankers for maximum boost, surprising Youngjin quite a bit. As they're eating together, a certain girl watches them and remembers that one of them is responsible for posting on the Great Sage's forest. Seon's friend wonders what she's staring at, and she acts chill like it's nothing. However, what boggles her mind is how Sunwoo managed to get close with the genius talent of Seojin. In the next scene, we're in the training rooms. Here, our boy tests the same manifestation ability, only this time, he's conservative with his mana. He forms the Rasengan and then releases it like Boruto. This action is called manipulation to change trajectory. The attack successfully lands on the dummy, and it's not even a secret as the rest of the students are impressed with his improvements. Sunwoo is really happy with their changed opinion. Before he got his ass yeeted back 7 years, he hoarded and spent points on stats. Unfortunately, the more you spend on stats, the more it gets expensive to upgrade. That's why he ended up getting hard stuck at a specific rank, much like what happens in video games. This time, however, Sunwoo wanted to switch things up. He wasn't going to dump all his points on stats, and instead aimed to raise them via the process of traits and items. Basically, he wanted to build a strong foundation instead of blindly upgrading. Sunwoo tries to find a specific mana trait that appears in the second part of the novel, but to his shock, he discovers a new passive effect alongside it, one that boosts his magic power up to 15% according to his environment. After that, he purchased a special item called the Returnee's Wristwatch, which amplifies his health and mana regeneration speed by a whopping 200%. Unfortunately, Bro could only obtain it after selling an A-tier trait called Master Chef, so Gordon Ramsay isn't going to be employing him anytime in the future. But yeah, traits can even be sold for points, and thanks to this investment, his base level right now is way better than last time. Sunwoo's phone buzzes. He finds it ridiculous to believe that anyone would call him. His eyes widen in shock when he reads what's on his phone screen. Sunwoo has been placed in a group chat between Hayoung, Jihyuk, and Jintae. He has no idea about any of them except for Hayoung. They're all low rankers, but Hayoung is one of those characters that eventually plays a critical role. Right now, she's a bum with 0 skills, so her role wouldn't be that big. Seojin wants everyone to share their special skills, so that they can know everything about each other. Hyuk's skill is support and manifestation. Hayoung specializes in ice manifestation and plays support too. Jintae is an enhancement type, but not a strong background in manifestation. Our boy types in his stuff, while Jihyuk hilariously insults him for acting like the entire school doesn't know about his manifestation skill. Successfully rage-baited, Sunwoo thinks that it's best to use Seojin as the main, while the others would play support for him. In order to hone first place, they needed to do way better than Ara's squad, and it does make him curious about the members on her team. We come forth to the training grounds again where different students are practicing their skills. One examiner critiques a student for focusing too much on manipulation and launching it slower. As for Ahura, she's out here giving everyone a show with a bursting display of her explosive magic. Everyone thinks she's brilliant, a supreme talent overall. Though she's young, she still requires some level of refinement. For example, her magic power is lacking. Coincidentally, our boy fires his shot at the back and stuns everyone. He had just hit his target using the advanced manifestation spell. Sunwoo's improvement is well noted. She has seen Sunwoo's growth up close, how he failed at the process of release at the ceremony. But now, he could use as many Rasengans he wanted with little mana. The fact that he was able to identify his own faults and come up with a solution to his own problems impresses the teacher. By evening, the specialty class concluded with the teacher thanking everyone. The students quickly scatter after the stressful class. They really enjoyed it despite having to work really hard. Sunwoo is stopped by the teacher as she comes up to him for a talk. She praises him for working really hard and learns that our boy has been training non-stop lately. She's also curious about his investment in mana cultivation, because she can tell that he focused on that too. Sunwoo realizes that his teacher is sharp and caught on to his lack of mana in the past. He confirms this, but even after his training, the teacher admits that his mana capacity is quite lacking for his skills. The problem is, there isn't a cheat code for just accumulating massive amounts of mana, so he needed to work hard. Nothing to worry as our boy was happy to work that much harder. The teacher gives him a friendship bracelet, but really it is an item to help with mana breathing and form. Sunwoo is baffled, inquiring if it's really okay for him to accept such a gift so casually. She assures him not to feel burdened. After all, it's a shitty F-rank item for practice purposes only. Sunwoo takes it and thanks her for her generosity, while his teacher waves him goodbye as per the end of the class. Our boy is satisfied with his unexpected item grab, when suddenly he finds a certain girl waiting for him. Asura, the same annoying brat who didn't give him a sliver of attention, is now trying to spark conversation with him. Naturally, our boy pisses her off by reminding her that she didn't want to be around him. Asura avoids the rage bait and learns about his involvement in Seojin's team, which stuns Sunwoo. She actually accuses him of being a dogshit leech who wants to acquire benefits of the top ranker. However, Asura also confesses that she is going to secure first place this time and suggests that he wake up from his delusion. Now, this dude is just as confused as the rest of us after realizing how fragile this girl's ego really is. By Thursday morning, the entire team is gathered up in one spot for the event. Seojin is glad that they're meeting in one spot for the first time, as they all hope for the best in the upcoming semester. Jihyuk, being sarcastic, calls their team quite unique for having both the top ranker and the bottom ranker at the same time. He also taunts Sunwoo, berating him by reminding everyone that he couldn't even conjure a single spell during the exam. Yep, at this point Sunwoo can tell this guy really hates him. Jin-tae comes to our boy's rescue, stating that Seojin was going to carry them all anyway. Not a good look because it shows that he's a freeloader. That leaves Hayoung, who is a minor character at this point of the novel. What bothers Sunwoo is how different the team composition is, at least in this part of the story. Hayoung's involvement is fine, but he really feels uncertain about the rest of the members. Suddenly, an examiner calls for their attention as he begins to elaborate on the details of the exploration event. The class will be conducted twice a day, with the goal of exploring only the first basement floor on the first day. Next, he talks about the grading criteria. Factors like dungeon clear speed would net more bonus points. Next is rank-based adjustment score, which means lower-ranked teammates netted overall more points. Finally, there's contribution, as the artificial dungeon has an inbuilt contribution system. Points are given to those who contributed the most during the event, safety being also prioritized. With the boring part concluded, we get to enter the dungeon at last. Meanwhile, a monitoring team is keeping close watch of each team. Instructor Yang just came here after sending the kids inside. Apparently these teachers have their own idea of fun by placing bets on the winning team. Most of them are insta-locking Ara's team, believing she will dominate. With the majority of teachers picking Group 7, the bet seems pointless. That's until the specialty class teacher chimes in, stating that she'll be picking Seojin's group as her choice. Even Sir Jang thinks Miss Lee's choice is absurd, because Ara's team of low rankers is way better than Seojin's. The thing about Group 3 is that their team members have no cooperative ability, and Seojin can only do so much as an enhancement type on his own. Lee understands that such types of mages are well suited for combat without team backup, and they'd get easily swarmed by multiple opponents. As for Ara, she specializes in a wide area of magic, allowing her to climb to the middle of the first floor at record speed. Lee agrees that she's full-on grinding this one as the underdog to take the top spot, but she's curious about the ultimate result. And now let's zoom in on the mages themselves. The protagonist has killed a few monsters without breaking a sweat. His party members are just freeloading off of him so far. Jin-tae and Jihyuk are just happy being carried, as they've already made it halfway through the first level. They're both curious about the first floor boss, almost certain that it won't be a powerful beast at the beginner level. While they're laughing it off, Hayoung adds that it's still a boss, so a powerful monster would come out. She actually asks for Sunwoo's opinion, and he guesses that a giant wolf will pop out. Jihyuk turns around, scoffing at the suggestion, but our boy doesn't explain why he knows what he knows at all. Jihyuk is starting to think that Sunwoo is a manipulating liar. His successful rage bait catches our boy, who is pissed off again. Seojin stops them from fighting and recommends they keep moving. As they're moving along, the hero stops them at once. Jihyuk taunts the top ranker for being scared, while Seojin believes that there's something going on with the floor. Hayoung wonders what it is, and a close-up reveals that it's a magic circle. Jin-tae is bummed out, questioning why it would be here. Even Jihyuk is frightened that they'll end up dealing with something dangerous. The bravest of them is our boy Sunwoo, who inspects the circle closely, even with Seojin's suggestion to be careful. From the pattern, Sunwoo deduces that the magic circle isn't dangerous. Actually, it's just a simple barrier. Jihyuk obviously doesn't believe him again, but our boy has seen this exact barrier being deployed in his previous life. To confirm his claims, he uses his hand to interact with the invisible wall. Sunwoo proves his hypothesis, much to the annoyance of this scumbag. Jin-tae questions what they should do, now that they're trapped on the way ahead. Exerting main character energy, Seojin bolsters the resolve to slash the barrier with his sword. Radiating golden aura, he lunges and carves open a slash, cutting the barrier clean. His party members are amazed, but not for long, because the barrier ends up closing immediately afterwards. But the stubborn main character isn't finished yet. He wants to try again with a different style, but Jihyuk steps up to clear this task for them. He's a support type who wants to play the part of a cool hero, but the moment he interacts with the circle, nothing happens. Bro was styling for no reason until he realizes that his way is going to take 40 freaking minutes. Sunwoo stops him, stating that he'll solve it on his own. Placing both his hands, he interacts with the magic circle up until one of his outsider's privileges kicks in. Thanks to the auto-translation feature, it converts the magic circle's formula into Korean words. It basically becomes a riddle in his language, and after configuring the words, Sunwoo successfully ends up decoding the magic circle. Subsequently, the barrier is diffused all because this dude stepped up for the job. Both Seojin and Jin-tae are impressed, and thanks to his shock, the system generates 5,000 points as a reward. Surprisingly, it also generates an interest level for the protagonist, which is a new feature. After clearing the barrier, they stumble inside the lair of the boss, which is unsurprisingly the same giant wolf Sunwoo predicted earlier. This ferocious devil is really strong, intimidating the rest of the group members. The boss monster pounces at the group, with Seojin taking position to cut him down. He blitzes the wolf with a trail of golden slashes, severing the creature's body with ease. Bro's even acting like the cool guy after killing the boss, experiencing zero difficulty doing so. With the boss cleared, they make their way out of the basement floor, concluding the event. The examiner congratulates them on the way out, earning them second place for the first week. Seojin is flabbergasted to hear that they're still second, and learns that Ara's team freaking cleared the whole thing 30 minutes faster. He's fine with her clearance rate, while his teammates treat Ara's talent like a monster. She's out here speedrunning the floor like it's Minecraft. Regardless of the result, Seojin is really happy with Sunwoo's contribution and thinks he's the only reason they earned top 2. If he hadn't melted the barrier, they would have been way behind. In fact, Seojin thinks that he's the one who failed for not being enough, but Hayoung assures him that he single-handedly carried their asses. Seconding her opinion, our boy encourages his team that it's only week 1, so they've got plenty of time to overtake Ara's team. As they're leaving, a woman comes to express her interest in Sunwoo. This lady is actually the teacher of the support department, and she's come here with a striking proposal for him. What's the proposal? This girl wants him to switch majors and transfer straight to the support department immediately. Our boy is a little confused at first, but wastes no time rejecting the teacher straight to her face. The teacher didn't expect him to reject her without even hearing about her conditions. She speaks to them out loud, highlighting that with her authority, he can easily get a special talent scholarship worth 50 million won. She thought that would be enough, but our boy still ends up declining her ass. Even the students around Sunwoo think he's an idiot for rejecting the offer of a lifetime. They think his manifestation skills are half-ass anyway, so it was better for him to have accepted. While these mongrels were yapping, Ara spoke up and indulged in the conversation. She thinks Sunwoo is foolish for not switching because special talents get way more benefits than just the scholarship. Displaying pure confidence, Sunwoo announces that he's just fine playing with manifestation instead. His response without any hesitation baffles her. In the next scene, we find our way to Seon, who runs into our boy and actually greets him in kind. Hilariously, the girl ends up getting his damn name wrong, so he has to correct her. What surprises Seon is how this dude is busy cleaning up the place. It's not for any material reason. Sunwoo just made this place glitter and shine just because it was dirty. His kindness really impresses her, and she bids him farewell afterwards. Now here's where it gets interesting. This girl is a two-faced bitch who actually thinks little of Sunwoo cleaning up. The system takes note of his impression on her and nets him 1,000 points. In reality, the Snail Bride achievement is the reason why Sunwoo was cleaning in the first place. He picks up his bucket and hums his way while leaving, but doesn't know that a certain dude is admiring him in secret. Back in class, the teacher talks about the different types of monsters, starting off with humanoid, animaloid, flying types among others. The most dangerous of them all are called the Magians. The teacher asks if anyone knows why they're considered so powerful, to which Sunwoo responds that it's because of their ability to throw down their disguise and their berserk state. They're similar to humans, making them a problem. These monsters are the very root of all evil, and they devour human blood, even controlling inferior monsters. They hide in normal society, and with no difference in appearance, no one can tell if someone is a Majin from a human. Only in critical situations, the Magians end up revealing themselves when their eyes fully turn black. Hearing this, Sunwoo recalls a specific episode that's going to happen this weekend. They'll encounter a Majin for the very first time. This will mark the rise of Seojun as a talented mage who subjugated a Majin while being a student. Our boy understands that the protagonist should be able to handle this kind of threat easily on his own, but he is worried about the story deviating again, so he intends to check for other variables. Well, his biggest problem right now is making lots of bread, in other words money, so he could make his moves for Seojun. In the next scene, Sunwoo is busy meditating and cultivating his mana. While he's doing so, the system informs him about his latent strength increase and bonus points thanks to his trait. Sunwoo concludes his training, satisfied that his efforts are paying off as he's accumulated quite a bit of mana by now. He's more interested in another system notification, informing him of his trait rising to grade 2. With this advancement, a new effect called Heart of Great Nature is unlocked. Sunwoo is thrilled to check it out, feeling great to have chosen this trait. The new effect has a cooldown of 24 hours, but it grants a recovery rate of 1000% for 1 minute upon usage. Basically, it's going to be used in a clutch situation. Sunwoo is feeling proud for sticking with his manifestation magic. Though he does recall the offer the support department teacher made. The only reason he was able to break barriers is because of his special system skills. Otherwise, the support department is out of his league because he can't make barriers of his own. It's a shame he won't get any scholarship money. Bro's only got an embarrassing 30,000 in his bank account, so he's dirt poor. Brainstorming a solution to make immediate money, Sunwoo thinks of different ways. One could explore dungeons, hunt down monsters and find items, but those are all risky maneuvers. The one feasible option for him is climbing the tower. Sure, he's a student, but he's confident that he can handle lower-level tower floors. Unfortunately, Bro is a minor, so he can't get a license either. Cornered, Sunwoo reaches an enlightenment which will solve his problems. In the next scene, we have a bunch of teachers glazing at a particular student. Our boy has now become the talk of the year. Everyone seems to be tracking his actions and even saw him clean up earlier that day. They're also impressed with his studious class attitude and active participation. Miss Lee is feeling really proud of her student and taunts the support department teacher for her unsuccessful poaching attempt. In the end, all of them are just happy to see a student genuinely being serious about studying and refreshing to be around. As for Sunwoo, Bro is slowly getting ahead of himself, thinking he's a genius, especially after achieving a new achievement from his teachers. Activating the search function, he enters the point store to make a purchase. With a whopping price of 10,000, Sunwoo invests his money on a gacha pull, expecting some glorious reward, mumbling to himself in the hall. Saturday morning comes around. A tall guy steps up to challenge the tower, while the bouncer stops him for a license check. Whipping out his license, Sunwoo reveals himself as a C-rank mage with a new identity of Jinwoo. Solo leveling fans should automatically arise after seeing this. The inspector takes one good look at the license card before shoving it in his database scanner. Here, Sunwoo is losing his marbles, knowing that this could blow up in his face. Luckily, the system confirms his identity as part of the records, granting him access. Initially, our boy was scared as hell, even though he knew this was a foolproof plan. Remember when he spent those points? He actually bought a new identity from the point shop. He could set any details according to his preferences, and even receive a mage license on top of it. The thing about mage licenses is that they're special in this world. They have a unique magic formula, which means faking one is straight up impossible. By the way, Bro is also wearing glasses with a hypnosis effect to change his hair color, so he actually didn't dye it or anything. Anyway, Sunwoo's in the tower and has to clear it before heading to the Han River. The protagonist is supposed to fight the mage in around 9:30. The tower welcomes Sunwoo's identity and allows him access up to floor 27. Standing on the magic circle, Sunwoo instructs the tower to transport him to floor 10. The floor has already been cleared, unfortunately, so clearing it again will reduce his reward significantly. Sunwoo doesn't really care and enters it anyway, because his real goal is unrelated to the clearance rewards. Portals in this world exist in every tower for easier transportation access. Tons of different types of towers exist according to variance in monster strength and the difficulty of traps on each level. Following the original side story, the Tower of Trials is supposed to be a place most guilds scarily avoid because of its high difficulty. But thanks to his knowledge of the side story, Sunwoo knows who to target first. His opponent is a three-eyed great wolf, a beast with a menacing aura. The wolf lunges at him to claw him down, but the mage casually shoots his manifestation magic and defeats it one go. The good thing about the monsters in the tower is that they're typically weaker than usual, so hunting them down isn't a problem. The real problem are the traps and high-level magic formulas found on each floor. It's difficult for everyone else, but for Sunwoo, it's the easiest thing imaginable thanks to his auto-translation skill. Bro is using ChatGPT and Google Translate but for magic. With a lot of time to spare, Sunwoo heads to his next destination. The scene cuts to the Han River, to Seojin's perspective. Youngjin is also here. Both friends are here to catch some air. Seojin is tasked to take a picture to cherish the memories they made today. He snaps a few photos, living a chill life. Meanwhile, our boy is hunting down monsters in the tower. Sunwoo's luck shines as he gets a magic crystal shard as an item drop. With this, he can cover his travel expenses. Then he fidgets around to find the trap nearby, interacting with the wall. Sunwoo finds it and uncovers it, unlocking Barrier Release Specialist as a new achievement. Exiting the hall, he enters the hidden floor of the Tower of Trials. This is called the Inner World, and it is special for having a mystery attribute mana overflowing in the environment. Sunwoo is pleased with his results. This hidden floor is the main reason he came here in the first place. The spirit of the floor addresses him as the challenger of the tower, before commanding him to prove his caliber. The angelic statue releases aura, stunning Sunwoo even. The garden of roses fluffs out as fairies emerge from them. These are called the Fairies of Flowers, and though these Tinkerbell clones are only C-rank level at best, they're pretty damn feisty in numbers. These monsters are known for going berserk upon the sight of a human. But not to worry, Sunwoo launches one of them with his magic, and understands that his speed will be the deciding factor for this battle. He's out here spamming Rasengan beams all over the place, knowing that at least one of them will hit a fairy. While they're scattering away, the mage invokes the magic circle and configures it. The problem is, even if he kills every single fairy in the floor, he still won't clear the stage. Earlier, the statue spirit tasked him to prove his caliber, but that didn't mean killing all the monsters. Exploiting his outsider's privilege effects, he decodes the magic formula. In short time, he fidgets with the barrier, assuring the spirit that he will prove himself. Sunwoo doesn't even need to work that hard, as he earned these powers thanks to Truck Kun sending his ass to another world. The tower is cleared, as the system rewards him with recognition from the tower alongside 10,000 points. The Tower of Proof even blesses Sunwoo with a new adaptive trait, Proof of the Tower. A bunch of different items are also salvaged as part of conquering the floors. Stuff like an increase in mana recovery speed, magic power, and output. Sunwoo is excited as the tower spirit congratulates him for his achievement. Let's cut back to Seojin's side of things. Fireworks fill up the sky, but he's too busy looking at the photos they took earlier. The hero spots a certain figure in the background. Youngjin's eyes widen in horror the more they zoom in, because in reality, this fedora-wearing wannabe magician is actually a Majin with black eyes. That same man is spotted by Sunwoo, who is shocked to see him even though Seojin's nowhere to be found. The Majin is at the verge of going berserk and looms around like a zombie. Time's running short, approaching 9:30, but Seojin's nowhere to be found, making our boy wonder if he should be the one to jump in first. But it's a real issue because this is supposed to be part of the main storyline. Interrupting things could seriously mess up plot progression. The Majin is acting strange, causing another stranger to approach this guy out of goodwill to check on his condition. I can't be the only one who thinks the Majin is mogging everyone with that chiseled jaw. Sunwoo panics in fear as blood drips down the young man's body. He coughs out red. His own kindness became his undoing as he got brutally stabbed by the Majin. The creature throws him around like a rag doll, knocking him down in a trail of blood. Next, this guy goes absolutely crazy and rips out his shirt. Bro has like a gazillion abs, even his abs have abs. One other poor girl is standing just behind this berserk monster. The Majin turns around and sets its sights on his next victim. The rest of the people realize what's really going on. Meanwhile, our boy can wait no longer and grabs a spear, knowing he's got to step in. Sunwoo basically says, "Fuck the storyline," and races up to the girl. On the flip side of things, Youngjin and Seojin report the image to a proper agent from the counter-terrorism task force of the Mage Association. Hyunsoo is damn certain that it's a Majin. The only problem is finding him now. The worst part is that this is a festival with many people gathered around, and a Majin gets even stronger after absorbing more blood. Suddenly, Seojin's senses kick into overdrive as he senses an enormous pool of dark energy. Hyunsoo senses it too and follows the source of the mana. The people in the crowd have no idea who our boy is, but the Majin is inches away from devouring the woman. It attempts to slash her, but at that moment, Sunwoo throws a table at him, causing the creature to become distracted. This allows the woman to escape just in time, but the Majin isn't finished and chases after her. Sunwoo concentrates a manifested technique, already knowing that this Majin is going to be a tough B-rank opponent to face. He collects everything in one swing and aims for the Majin's blind spot, its main weakness. The released Rasengan makes its way to Majin's head, dealing enough damage to gain its attention. Sunwoo waits patiently, as the monster horrifically turns around with its half-burnt face, surviving the attack. Its regeneration abilities fix up the burnt face quickly, and now Sunwoo is in deep trouble. He was trying to target the brain, but that won't work anymore. Enraged, the Majin exerts purple aura and begins to chase after the mage. The creature jumps our boy, driving Sunwoo into a corner and forcing him to use one last move. Activating Heart of Mother Nature technique, he increases his mana recovery speed by 1000% for 60 seconds. With this guy manifests multiple Rasengans all at the same time. It's fine even if Sunwoo is incapable of beating the creature, because he's just stalling for time. His energy blasts make their way to the Majin's body, giving it severe burns all around. The creature topples to the ground when Sunwoo sends even more of his manifested blasts, forcing the Majin to take up a defensive position and block them. Our boy's fine with this much, so long as he can keep some distance from the monster. His main target is the Majin's head, even though it's proving to be difficult to land a clear hit. Enraged, the Majin is overwhelmed with Sunwoo's blasts, who think he's making good progress. Unfortunately for our boy, the 1 minute passed really quickly. Now he's the one on the back foot, while his opponent is healing at the speed of light. The Majin is back to full health, but before it could unleash an attack, Agent Hyunsoo comes in with a severing slash, cutting off the creature's head and tearing it limb by limb. With this, the Majin is neutralized and the situation is back to control. The agent especially thanks the young man for holding back the beast until he could intervene. He even asks for Sun Woo's identity license to award him later. Our boy hands him his lowly C rank card, which surprises the agent, who at least expected B rank from him. Other than Hyunsoo, Youngjin, and Seojin also show up to the scene, startling our boy. It's a pain in the ass that they only showed up just now when they were supposed to arrive way sooner than that. Watching the mage from a distance, Seojin wonders if he's seen this guy somewhere before. I mean, I'm positive that if he saw his technique even once, bro would instantly know who he is. The protagonist comes up to our boy, before asking him if he knows about Kim Sunwoo by any chance. He even adds that the kid goes to the Magic Military Academy. Even Youngjin can spot the resemblance between them. Maintaining his disguise, the supposed Jinwoo claims that he's never heard of that guy before. Luckily, Agent Hyunsoo thinks these guys are wasting his time, so he low-key tells them to fudge off. Then he turns back to glaze our boy again, but Seojin is mega sus of this dude and stares him down. Sunwoo acts like it was his duty to intervene, while the agent concludes that he's off to report the situation. Sunwoo thanks him for saving his life in return, and after Hyunsoo leaves, the system pops up to credit him for participating in the subjugation mission. Things are looking bad because the variables are starting to shift from the main storyline. The system takes note of this change and increases causality points by 0.2. All because of Sunwoo's intervention. Causality will create his own authority in the world, especially if he steps up to solve an important event by himself. This means that our boy could actually change causality itself by intervening in the final fight between the hero and the monster Kraus responsible for killing him. As for authority, it depends on levels of causality points. There's also a Deus Ex Machina effect after reaching 100 points, allowing him to grant any wish. Obviously, the first thing that comes to Sunwoo's mind is returning to his friends in the original world. This is enough of a motivation for him to try harder, because now he can help save the hero Seojin and gain causality. So from now on, bro's gonna be injecting himself in the main storyline as much as he can. In the next scene, Sunwoo receives a 15,001 reward from the Mage Association for stalling the Majin. Having worked so hard for this amount, he's already thinking about spending it on some luxury services. So he goes to a premium hotel reserved for mages. Hotel Hanseong belongs to the Hanseong Corporation. It's a conglomerate with immense power and wealth, and they play a critical role in the main storyline too. Sunwoo is welcomed properly, and spots Han Sejin, the vice chairman of the Hanseong Group. He's the first in line to become the next owner of the conglomerate. Sejin learns that his sister is also interested in attending dinner with him, and that sister just so happens to be Seon. This reminds Sunwoo that she's also a part of the story. In his room, he contemplates how he should handle the spear. The weapon is too flashy, so that's definitely gonna have to be sold. The enchantment book could be useful in the later parts, and as for the herbs, he's gonna send these to Seon. But to get close to her, he has to wait until tomorrow to arrive. The following morning, a news transmission announces the accomplishment of a mage conquering the hidden floor in the Tower of Trials. Footage displays the works of a C-rank mage, who also ended up subjugating a Majin shortly afterwards. The Mage Association officially congratulates Kim Jinwoo for his tremendous feats, and they're even considering boosting him up to A-rank level. The public is stunned with this guy popping out of nowhere and making such a mark in one day. They also seem to think that he defeated the Majin all by himself. With so much fame and increase in reputation, the system awards him with a lesser hero accomplishment. Nearly 2 million people express interest in him now, netting him 21,000 points in a single run. Sunwoo is happy that he could install his new identity in the eyes of the association. Now that he's the talk of the hour, he heads over to Hansong Pharmaceuticals to find Seon. The people around him are already taking notice of the popular guy from TV. Sunwoo spots a certain mage from afar, that being the distinguished S-rank mage, Jang Sugi of the Hansong family. It really freaked him out why an S-rank mage is just loafing around here. The receptionist spots Jinwoo, and our boy introduces himself properly with the intention of selling some herbs from the tower. He ends up sharing a room with the director, Han Seon herself. She's really happy with the stuff he's brought, sensing the energy of the plants to be potent and rare compared to normal items. She even calls it an incredible herb, which makes her wonder how this young man managed to figure out its rarity. Sunwoo keeps it simple and expresses that he has a background in studying medicine, when in reality, he just knows about the properties of the divine grass herb. It allows amplification of other herbs without any specialty of its own. Processing it properly is difficult at this point in time, which is why he leaves the matter in the hands of the genius pharmacist Seon. She doesn't get his point, but she's clearly interested in the herb itself and asks about his conditions. Throwing up the number 5, Bro openly demands 500 million freaking won as an advance payment, and even a minor equity stake in the company. Seon finds the offer a little insulting and thinks that the mage has no idea what he's talking about. Instead of fumbling, the mage reasons that the divine grass could eventually become a commercialized product and will single-handedly monopolize the industry. Despite his point, the director emphasizes that he can't have equity regardless. Sunwoo transitions his offer to have an underground auction VIP membership instead, as well as potion and item creation benefits. He'll pay the price for the services rendered. The director gives one look at this guy before realizing what he's doing here. He wants her to fetch him what he needs. But then our boy comes up with a ridiculous counter that sends a chill down her spine. Sunwoo confesses that he'll reveal the weaknesses of her older brother, Sejin. He understands fully well that she's plotting to take control of the Hansung group entirely, so much so that she doesn't give a damn if it destroys her family in the process. The scene cuts to a dark corner of Majins. Here, they're discussing Jang Han's death, though they could have easily prevented it. Pissed off, Baek Gang smashes a table in frustration, regretting being unable to step in sooner. The subordinate is reminded of their orders from their leader. After all, if they wreak havoc on humans right now, they'll be the ones in danger. Baek Gang goes ballistic in his fury, questioning how long they'll have to keep hiding in the dark like cowards. His blood boils for the thought of Kim Jinwoo, and he's hell-bent on slaughtering the mage responsible for taking his friend down. The other guy thinks it's not a wise strategy if Jinwoo, the mage, is already making good progress with their client. Baek Gang believes that it's still fine. After all, his client is someone even more ruthless than he is. The two siblings of the Hanseong group meet each other, Sejin and Seon, as Baek Gang foretells that one of them is ruthless enough to annihilate their own family with delight. On their way, Sejin asks his sister about her day-to-day life. She scoffs, sharing how miserable it is, having drained her a lot. Her brother thinks their pops was too hasty with his decision for handing a ton of shares over to Seon. He even offers her to surrender those shares and let him control the company so she can eventually become vice chairman in his stead. But this offer is insulting and pisses her off. By the way, Sunwoo ended up snagging her number. He's using 2 different accounts for each of his identities, and thinks that he made the right move by meeting her. Thanks to him selling off all his goods, he didn't have to worry about returning home. The thing about her is that she possesses a brilliant network. Sunwoo knows that she's definitely going to cross-reference the weakness he shared with her. Speaking of which, Seon texts him, happy to serve him for a month as his errand runner. The system officially recognizes her as one of the characters who trusts our boy. She's even going to send the advance payment to him today, much to his delight. Sunwoo texts her back, reminding her to create the potion and the admission ticket. But that's not something Seon can achieve quickly. She's going to contact him once both of those things are handled. With the deal made, our boy realizes that maintaining his secondary identity as Jinwoo might be an issue because it activates the demon-bound route. This character originally had a revenge arc too, so that's in line to come. Sunwoo searches for detection traits in his system and comes up with a bunch of traits. There's Killing Intent Sense with a whopping price of 50,000 points. It costs a shit ton, but it's got huge benefits to sense the bloodlust of surrounding characters. That's why our boy opts for the purchase as the small price of keeping his head on his shoulders. A few more days passed. The potions he requested were eventually made. Seon shares her second meeting with him, expressing how she mixed the divine grass in them, which would amplify both the effects and side effects of the potions. These mana elixirs are going to increase mana recovery speed by 500% for 5 minutes. But right after usage, there will be an exhaustion state of 30 minutes, so it's a double-edged sword. What really bothers the astute director is why a capable mage even needs a shitty elixir like this to begin with. Then there's the fact that he knows about her conflict with her brother. Seon talks about the weakness he brought up last time and explains how she personally verified it through her connections. The results were shocking. She had absolutely no idea that her brother was responsible for the deaths of many. The fact that he's in contact with multiple magians or demons is one other huge problem. But a bigger question is how this guy, the average-looking C-rank mage, was able to figure all of that out. Sunwoo only knows this much because of the novel's storyline, where Sejin ends up teaming up with demons out of personal greed. He's one of the prominent villains in the story because of his transition. But it's not like our boy can say that out loud in front of his sister. To reject her easily, bro asks for a whopping 5% equity in her company. It kills Seon's mood because this is his way of rejecting her outright. As for his arena ticket, Seon's prepared her, but it can't be transferred easily. Instead, he's gonna have to come with her, which is also the reason she's dressed up in a certain way. The director is curious about his goals, while Sunwoo simply reasons that he's intending on using his money. A moment of silence ensues before Seon questions what he's going to do with that money. Turns out our boy has plans to spend all that amount on gambling. Seon even calls him a lunatic and reminds this clown that their deal will end in a month. She's actually really disappointed in the mage, but our boy doesn't give a damn what she thinks at all. He already knows that he's going to end up earning her trust even more when he clears his next hurdle in the arena. In the next scene, Sunwoo and Seon are there when he receives a proper VIP bracelet. celebrating him as the newest member. A man approaches them, someone that Sunwoo recognizes right off the bat. It's Haryong, the S-rank demon and one of the top villains in the story. This guy is scary business, as he's the host of the underground arena. He greets the member briefly and leaves just as fast. Sunwoo reminds himself not to get tangled with a guy like him, or else he's gonna be in huge trouble. Later at the arena, the audience watches the show. Seon didn't expect so many people here. They're all gathered because of Yang Hongju, who is one of the most popular fighters around. This guy single-handedly held the champion title for 3 whole years in a row. In fighting capabilities alone, Bro is an A-rank mage. Seon thinks that if that is the case, then everyone would bet on him. Sunwoo confirms the fact, and adds that in order to make actual money, they're gonna have to introduce another trick. Seon is baffled and watches him go up to make a bet. This fucker places 530 million on the freaking line on Hongju's opponent. Even the staff member is dazed, while Seon thinks this idiot is going crazy. The big lurking question is who is going to be Hongju's opponent. That person is none other than a rookie, a guy who is going to be debuting for the first time ever. The staff member goes up to inform his boss about the absurd betting amount placed on Hongju's opponent. Haryong learns that this guy is the same rabbit mask dude who is freshly registered. At the same time, he thinks really highly of the kid, and wonders if Sunwoo is just another rich kid with weird tastes. By the way, the two Majins are also chilling in the nearby area. Baek Gang is ticked off when he discovers that the mage showed up for the event with Seon. This guy is dying to get a chance to kill the mage, declaring that he'll settle the score and exact justice for his friend. In the arena, Hongju's previous opponent has just surrendered. The people in the audience are bad-mouthing this guy for losing them their precious money. Then again, this kind of response is expected in the eyes of Seon, as this is an underground match. The event organizers would never let someone be killed in combat, which is why the matches are often cancelled early on. Next up is Hongju's opponent, who has put 530 million on the line. This person will be the rookie Liang Liang, the person who will cause today's upset. Sunwoo can see that everyone aside from him bet on Hongju. In fact, they're already mocking the dude who spent over 500 million on a rookie. Our boy is playing the long game, knowing that he's gonna win 6 times the money if he gets this prediction right. Hongju steps up to the battlefield. His opponent, Baki Hanma, is also stepping forth. Seon is seriously shocked that they're pinning a fight between 2 fighters of such a weight class difference. Not even our boy anticipated how skinny Liang would be. In reality, he came here for a bunch of reasons, aside from earning money. There's a villain group called John operating in the arena with a certain level of significance in the story. Liang is a character who ends up joining the group, so Sunwoo wanted to see him fight personally first. Of course, Bro's genuinely starting to feel nervous about his own bet, even after knowing the results of the novel. Ling Liang is someone who is destined never to lose a single match in the arena. His opponent Hongju makes fun of the guy's level and thinks that it's a waste of his time. He closes in to finish the fight quickly, but his thunderous charge is casually avoided by the short king. Still, Hongju follows up with a powerful gut punch, knocking the wind out of the kid and sending him beaming into the nearest wall. Liang is instantly put down, much to the enjoyment of the crowd. Hilariously, Sunwoo is starting to think he made a colossal blunder by betting on this guy. On different fronts, Baek Gang is on his way to the arena. Though he would love to raid the location, Haryong is there governing the event. Messing with him is not a smart idea. He asks about the end time of the event and learns that it's 10:30, which means he's happy to wait until the event finishes up. Back to the fight, Liang is getting his ass beat left and right. Hongju shows him no mercy and whips a powerful punch that sends shockwaves. This guy isn't letting him get up. Bro is juggling him like he's in Tekken. Liang is sent to the ground. His body is full of bruises and he's in barely any condition to fight anymore. Hongju's name is celebrated by all of his supporters, while Sunwoo fears the worst future imaginable. He can't believe that this dude actually won this match. And then, it happens. A spike pierces the champion's chest, as Hongju desperately looks at his opponent. Liang is battered and bruised but unfinished. Hongju tries to lean on the offensive again to seize his victory, but the game's already over for him. Liang prepares more spikes and scatters them covered with dark energy. All 4 of them manage their way to Hongju's upper body, nuking him with a barrage of hits. The champion hits the ground with severe bleeding, 5 spikes resting in his chest and abdomen. Complete and utter silence follows. The crowd is speechless. Seon can't even process what happened just now. Denying reality, they call his opponent a coward, while Sunwoo thinks it's time for them to leave, now that the match is over. Seon catches up to him, while Haryong thinks something is suspicious behind the scenes. The timing of things is suspicious, and he knows full well that Liang only won because the champion let his guard down. Even then, he can tell that the man who blindly placed a bet on Liang had some intention behind it beforehand. So he asks Chief Jong to investigate everything about Kim Jinwoo's identity. On their way back, Seon is genuinely lost. She doesn't know who this guy is, or how he knew in advance that Liang guaranteed his victory. Keeping it chill, our boy tells her that it's just a silly hunch, another way of rejecting her outright. Sunwoo has hit the jackpot with today's bet, and now his account balance has jumped all the way to 3 billion won. Remember when this same dude barely had 30,000? Crazy how fast that switched around. Thanks to his achievement, Seon has regained respect and trust towards him, displaying curiosity over his identity. Thanks to her interest level, he gained 7,000 points. All those points he lost on killing intent detection traits are now slowly coming back. Just when Sunwoo felt safe and happy, he sensed an unsettling feeling. A strong kill intent is hovering nearby them. It's baffling, because in the original story there was a demon seeking revenge for Jang Han. Han Se-yeon notices him and wonders what's up with him. He turns to her and asks for a favor. Meanwhile, in a car, Red sits and observes his movements and tells the driver to stop the car, since he will kill him here. He steps out and doesn't see Han Se-yeon. He can't help but wonder if Kim Jin-woo really killed Jang Han. Since his energy is weak and his body looks untrained, it's hard to believe. Our boy is carrying a vial and drinks the entire thing inside it. As he drops it, he whispers to Red to face him. The liquid wasn't any ordinary liquid, but an amplified mana elixir. Our boy knew this entire time that Red had been targeting him. Red feels a sudden change in his energy, though not to a threatening level. Still, he's impressed. Instantly, Red takes out his arrows and unleashes an attack on the boy, but swiftly our boy throws a ball of energy, dodging the attack. Red isn't too worried since he has 2 more attacks, and he throws them right away at our boy, making him panic. A loud bang occurs, and Han Se-yeon notices while driving that it has begun. A while ago, our boy had noticed that they were being followed. Han Se-yeon wonders who it could be while our boy takes out the vial containing the elixir. He affirms that the company after him is a competing company, similar to the Han Seong group. So, he leads the one following them to a place with no public around, because he needs to deal with him under any circumstances. He knows it won't be easy to handle him because his magical power far exceeds B rank. Hearing that, Han Se-yeon is a bit worried for him, but he assures her that he'll be fine, and he's counting on her. She decides to trust him with his plan and urges him to come back safely. Back on the battlefield, our boy is dodging the attacks as if they are easy to counter, as he was an enhancement specialist until his first year. Red notices how he has been dodging instead of attacking, so he launches another attack, thinking he can't really escape it. With lightning speed, he approaches our hero, which panics our boy, but in time he manages to dodge him once again. Now the protagonist has only 2 minutes left of the drug's effect, so he is going to settle this matter and activate an active skill named Heart of Mother Nature. As he activates that skill, Red feels a difference in the energy coming from our boy, making him nervous. Kim Jin-woo braces himself and runs toward his opponent with lightning speed. His opponent realizes that the situation is about to become dangerous for him, but he launches an attack to block him no matter what. It surprises Red that our boy has dodged all his attacks and reached him. He takes his staff and is ready to dodge the attack, but our boy hits him with his lightning ball right in the heart. The protagonist realizes that he can create an opening, so he keeps pushing him like that, and his opponent is miserably losing the fight. Then our boy realizes that he can really aim for his brain like that, so he suddenly gets near his opponent and holds him by the neck, choking him. Life is about to give our boy some lemons since the duration has ended, and he is about to fall into mana exhaustion for the next 30 minutes. Our boy realizes that he is now cooked. His opponent grabs his staff again and is about to stab him to death with an evil smile on his face. Suddenly, someone from the back slices him into 2 pieces like a banana peel. Our protagonist sighs as he's saved now. It was Jang Soo-gi, an S-rank mage, also known as the Sword of the Hansong family, who saved his life. It turns out to be true. Baek Gang had to die by the hands of the demon. Our boy is delighted to see Jang Soo-gi, who is the powerhouse ranked among the best in the original work. He managed to take down Baek Gang with a single strike despite him being an A rank. Jang Soo-gi is furious over how a man even dared to lift a finger on the youngest daughter of the Hansung family. Han Se-yeon comes running toward the protagonist, worried about him and wondering if he is alright. As she is supporting him and walking, he politely says that he's alright and that he doesn't need any support. He realizes that buying time until he could resort to help ended up saving his life. She smiles, saying her life is on the line, so naturally she had to bring the strongest person available to her. The system notifies him that Baek Gang has passed away, and that a small change has been detected in the story, increasing the causality by 0.6, earning the trust of Han Se-yeon. Seeing all the notifications pop up, our boy feels relieved getting all those rewards. Then, Jang Soo-gi questions Han Se-yeon if he should report this situation to the chairman, because a Majin attack isn't a matter to sleep on. Our boy thinks to himself that if someone gets to know that the Hansung group was attacked by a Majin, it will become the cause of creating massive chaos. He realizes that he doesn't need to blow up an event that is different from the original plot. The two of them realize that if this thing gets known, things could easily become complicated and annoying. So Han Se-yeon asks to keep this matter between them, and his uncle Jang Soo-gi agrees. 3 days later, as our boy is scrolling through the phone, he lies on the bed. In return for protecting Han Se-yeon during the incident which ended up being fatal for Baek Gang, she offered to get him any information that he needed. So he made use of the situation, and he asked for the timeline for the commercialization of the divine herb potion. The news on the phone informs him about Han Se-yeon, who developed a potion accelerating medicinal effects, and the company's insights are expected to skyrocket stock prices. Our boy had already spent his entire savings buying Hansung pharmaceutical stocks for the moment he is seeing today. Just in one more minute, the stocks rise through the roof. The protagonist is stunned at the growth because before his regression, he couldn't even afford to buy a decent home even after grinding dungeons his entire life. He never realized money-making was this easy, but still, it feels bitter to him. Suddenly his phone notifies him, and it's a text from Han Se-yeon asking him for lunch tomorrow since she has a gift for him, which surprises him. The next day, he reaches her early because of his habit of being early. He informs her about the profit he made from the pharmaceutical stock that went up in price. She wonders how much he made, assuming it would be around 50 million, but to her surprise, he ended up making 3 billion in just one day. She gets nervous and tells him to consider it a token of her appreciation, and he thanks her. Then he wonders what the gift she mentioned earlier was, and she informs him that she found out the identity of the Majin who attacked them last time, and his name was Baek Gang. Further, she tells him that he was a notorious hitman when he would be disguised as a human. Upon investigating further, she discovered that there was someone who was frequently dealing with Baek Gang. It was no one other than her own older brother, Han Sejin. She knew beforehand that her brother was dealing with Majins, but she didn't think that Baek Gang would be one of them. Despite finding this interesting, our boy still doesn't think that information is important enough to call a gift. She admits that he is very calculating even after they ended up saving each other's lives. She then pulls out the gift, which is a gesture showing him that she looks forward to working with him. She asked to meet today because she is going to be busy for a little while, making him wonder if something is happening. She explains that after she found out what her brother has been doing, it's no longer a secret who has been behind the attack, and she cannot live owing a debt, whether it was out of gratitude or a grudge. After that, she gets up and leaves while our boy thinks that it is her misunderstanding that her brother is behind Baek Gang. But still, he is a villain and he will eventually become a pain in the butt for her anyway. Using her to catch Han Sejin is an appealing idea for him. Suddenly she calls for him, hoping that the gift she got him, which she picked out herself, suits him well. He thanks her and opens the box. He finds a bracelet with mana infused in it, and a bright smile comes on his face. A notification pops up telling him Har Yong feels curious towards him, and he ends up acquiring 1,500 points as a reward. On the other hand, Har Yong sits in his office while looking at some reports. A man named Cheonhae comes and then greets him. Har Yong wonders if he came regarding the 10 demonic assembly, and he affirms it. But before that, Cheonhae has a question he wishes to ask. The incident a few days ago where his friend Jang Han and Baek Gang were killed coincidentally involved in both incidents is a human mage. And according to Baek Gang's report, that mage visited the Colosseum a while ago. The question Cheonhae has is if Har Yong knows who Kim Jin-woo is. Har Yong looks at his report, then at the picture of the protagonist. The moment he recognizes him, he realizes that this is the VIP who has been betting on Rangrang. Cheonhae asks Har Yong to provide information on the protagonist, promising that if he does, he will sprinkle his blood on the graves of Har Yong's dead friends. But Har Yong finds the request vulgar, and his aura suddenly rises as he warns Cheonhae to be prepared for the consequences if he even thinks of laying a finger on his customer. Cheonhae immediately begins apologizing, assuring him that he won't touch the protagonist and begging for forgiveness. Har Yong tells him to simply deliver the message sent by the 10 demonic assembly. Sweating, Cheonhae explains that a prophecy has descended from the holy relic, the altar of the prophet. In the year when the child destined for demon destruction turns 18, they will awaken their power, and the king of Magians will soon meet his end at their hands. Har Yong knows the king will surely do something troublesome once again. He asks if there is anything more, and Cheonhae adds that, according to the altar, the prophesied child who turns 18 this year lives in the Magic Military Academy. Meanwhile, at the Magic Military Academy, our protagonist decides to stop acting as Kim Jin-woo for the moment. He can't stop thinking about Har Yong. He's curious, but now is definitely not the right time to get involved with him. He leaves the scroll floating in the air and reminds himself that there are more important matters to handle. He opens the scroll, which is basically a spellbook. After reading it, he recalls that midterm exams are about to begin. Students must demonstrate their skills before many officials, making it an important event. It is tied to Lee Seo-jun's growth, which makes it even more significant. The Child of Prophecy, a future comrade of Lee and someone born with the power of demon destruction, will draw Majin attention. According to the original storyline, the Majins attack the school at 4 p.m. in order to flush out the child who has not yet awakened their power, but Lee subjugates them all. Even if the event isn't huge, it still contains major plot points, so the protagonist must keep an eye on Lee and the Child of Prophecy. A teacher begins to make an announcement, much to the students' annoyance since the midterms are already draining them. He loudly declares that real combat is training and training is real combat, and that this year's midterms will include several days of autonomous sparring classes. The students are shocked. He adds that those who can't find an opponent may observe or practice individually. Behind the protagonist, Yu Ahara perks up at the mention of Lee Seo-jun, making him realize that the two of them are going to partner up just like in the original story. But what he didn't expect was that no one would offer to be his partner. It makes sense though. Despite his talent in theory and barrier dismantling, no one wants to pair with the lowest ranked student in the school. Still, he already knows who he intends to partner with. Elsewhere, Park In-hwan and Yu Ara are battling. She taunts him, insisting that with her abilities, first place should belong to her instead of him. He puts her in her place, telling her not to get ahead of herself because he hasn't even warmed up yet, and then he unleashes an attack. Inside the school, Yoon Ha-young watches the two top-ranking students locked in a fierce fight. She looks away, knowing it will only make her feel more pathetic. No one wants to partner with her either because she ranks 82nd overall. She may be sharp in theory, but she is still weak in practice. The protagonist feels bad for her. Her body can't keep up with her mind, and overall, she's a kind person. She tries practicing alone with a training dummy, but even her harshest attacks don't affect it. Frustrated, she grows angrier because no matter how hard she tries, nothing ever works out. The protagonist approaches and tells her that her manifestation form is poor. She turns to him as he adds that the ice she's throwing isn't even cold and her accuracy is terrible, proof that her fundamentals are weak. He knows he's responsible for this. In the original story, she would already have risen to 6th place in her grade thanks to advice from Lee during the last dungeon exploration. But because he interfered, she lost that opportunity and hit a stagnant stage. He walks up to her and says that she's missing something, and if she partners with him, he'll make sure she can at least pull her own weight. Even though he's trying to help, she accuses him of lacking skill himself and claiming he's only trying to lower her self-esteem so she'll listen to him. But he turns it around, telling her she's just angry because she can't accept the truth about her abilities. Furious, she says she used to think he was a decent person during the dungeon exploration, but not anymore. Realizing he was too harsh, he starts to apologize, but she takes it as an insult to her pride and challenges him to a match so she can witness the great skills of the school's worst student. This actually makes him happy, at least she's reacting. He happily tells her to bring it on, and she immediately begins to throw ice shards at him. Our boy braces himself and starts dodging them. She realizes that the moment he got serious, his entire manifestation intensity completely changed. He yells at her, asking what the motive is behind these attacks, and tells her that her attack pattern is too simple because ice attribute manifestors are supposed to shine in utility. She angrily taunts him, asking if he wants to see a different pattern, and begins gathering her mana into an attack that throws him off. He still manages to dodge it. She is left disturbed, thinking that there is no way he should be able to pull that off no matter how much training and practice he had, yet suddenly he can do all of that now. He sits on a block of ice while thinking that drawing out someone's ability requires giving them the right push, and taunting her was the right choice. She angrily charges toward him, shouting at him and asking how he expects to win if he is only going to dodge all the attacks instead of fighting her. He jumps off the block of ice while saying that inexperienced manifestation-type mages all have one thing in common. Once you get in close, they are easy to shut down. He gets very close to her and attacks. She feels the intensity of the mana, but right before it hits her, he stops. Then he admits that it was a good sparring session. Miserably, she sinks to her knees, knowing that she lost the battle and that she might actually have to learn magic from him. But he assures her that she simply doesn't know how to bring out her talent yet, and he will help her with that if she is willing to work with him. She looks at him nervously, unable to believe it, but she shakes his hand and says that she is going to trust him to teach her. His system notifies him that the character Yoon Ha-young is taking interest in him and that he has gained her favorability. Later on, he informs her that she will be doing attribute adaptation training. He hands her a cube and tells her that all magic begins with adapting to its element, which means understanding the attribute that determines her ability to manifest magic. He explains that without knowing the basics, all her practice will be useless and her skills will remain stagnant. She admits that she knows what attribute adaptation training is, but she has never heard of doing it while being submerged entirely in ice. He tries to motivate her by saying that feeling the attribute with her body is the fastest and easiest method, and she needs to start adapting already. In a dark building, Cheon-hae wonders whether they are all present. Several people kneel before him, reporting that they have gathered the demons as ordered to operate around the Magic Academy. The infiltration to kill the prophesied child is set for next week, and the rat inside the academy reports that security becomes weak during the midterms. They assure him they are ready to carry out the operation, but one of them asks what happened to the plan of Har-yong helping them. Cheon-hae replies that it fell through because he was told Har-yong has more important matters to deal with than the survival of their race. Yang-yeon panics, knowing that killing the child of prophecy with only 4 B-ranked demons is impossible. Her companion scoffs, asking if she really needs help killing just one person. She snaps at him, reminding him that just because security becomes a little lax doesn't mean things will go smoothly, since scouts from every guild will be swarming the school that day, and they cannot handle all of them by themselves. He suggests that if they trap the meddlers, the plot will change. Cheonhae then shows them the Grand Demon Barrier, assuring them that they can fight as much as they want because he will be fighting alongside them. He orders them to kill the Child of Prophecy under any circumstances. Back with our boy, he is teaching Yoon Ha-young, guiding her to memorize the sensations with her entire body so she can imagine ice without being surrounded by it. She then concentrates her mana and creates a sharp ice spear. She feels proud that she formed an ice spear with her own power. Even the protagonist feels proud of her, since only a few days of training have improved her skills. He tells her that he always knew she had talent. Then the system notifies him that she has begun to trust him, and he receives 1,500 points as a reward. She excitedly promises that she will believe anything he says now. Then she asks him to throw in more ice because she can endure it. But the boy realizes she is still in pain, yet he throws more ice anyway because it is necessary to help her grow and to raise her as Lee's partner. As he throws in more ice, she shivers. Meanwhile, someone stands on top of the corridor, secretly watching them. Lee Seo-jun, standing on top of the corridor, wonders what they are doing and assumes it is school violence. She thinks that our boy is bullying Yoon Han-young by throwing her into the ice and wonders if this is okay. She decides to report it to the teachers immediately. Suddenly, a teacher named Lee Hee-young approaches from behind, and the girl reports the situation right away. Lee Hee-young asks if she is referring to the attribute adaptation training, which surprises the girl. The teacher explains that she has been observing them since day one, and in such a short period, the implementation of magic power has improved significantly. She knows that Yoon Han-young is doing well, but what amazes her is the judgment of the student who understood her issues and helped her overcome them. The teacher is also surprised that Lee Seo-jun knows him already, because she thought Seo-jun only memorized the names of the top-ranking students. This makes the girl nervous as she tries to explain herself. The teacher admits that Kim Sunwoo has great potential, so memorizing his name in advance is a smart move. It is hard for Lee Seo-jun to believe this, since he ranks the lowest in the entire school. But the teacher wonders when he plans to raise his own skills if he spends all his time improving Han-young's skills, because in the end, only results matter. The teacher then thinks they should give him a chance to prove himself in the midterms. Meanwhile, our boy realizes he is screwed because he wanted to buy a spatial pocket, but the price is 20,000 points while he currently has 8,500. He knows spatial pockets are extremely valuable since they can summon stored items anywhere, making them useful in both combat and daily life. He knows he will get a 50% discount, but his points are still lower than what he needs. He curses at himself, wondering why the discount happened when he is completely broke on points. Somehow, he must gather 11,500 points in 5 days with a guaranteed method to earn points. His phone buzzes, and it's a notification from teacher Lee Hee-young asking him to come to the staff room before class. The next day, Yu Ara, Park In-hwan, and Kim Sunwoo are in the staff room. Lee Hee-young informs them that the three of them have been selected for the second-year manifestation special class. She urges them to think of it as an advanced class for high-potential students regardless of grades. Our boy thinks that Lee Seo-jun was in the enhancement special class, and if he joins this class, there is a good chance he can get closer to her. Suddenly, Park In-hwan opposes the idea of our boy joining the special class, making the protagonist wonder what his problem is. Park In-hwan looks down on him, saying that he is 5th ranked in the grade, and grouping him with the school's worst student is unfair. He begs Yu Ara to say something in his defense, but she arrogantly says she won't because he needs to mind his own business, which shocks him. He convinces himself that this is exactly why she has no friends. The teacher then turns to our boy and asks for his thoughts on Park In-hwan's objection. Our boy replies that if rank is the issue, then he will raise it. The teacher then urges him to prove his skills in the midterms before joining, rank 80 or higher. Later on, our boy turns to Han-young, knowing that if everything goes according to the plot, it is doable. She follows his lead. Basically, the second-year midterm is a co-op battle, and they must team up with a partner to fight a summoned green giant. If they target the correct point inside the green giant, they can defeat it instantly, but the exact location varies, making it difficult to find. This is why most students end up getting decent scores simply by surviving the green giant's attacks, but the true geniuses defeat the monster immediately. Lee Seo-jun is in the middle of a battle with a green giant and ends up slicing the monster, causing everyone to praise her skills. On the other hand, our boy brings his partner with the intention of climbing to the top ranks. Han-young begins concentrating her mana with him to attack the green giant. Many students mock him since he failed once in the public ranking test, making others think his admission was a scandal. Because everyone is anticipating his humiliation, he ends up receiving 1,000 points as a reward. As he faces the green giant, he activates his outsider's perk. He He knows he won't be the clown this time and instantly attacks one of the giants at its weak point, killing it instantly. The second giant charges at him in rage, and he thinks that this will end much more easily than he expected. As the giant is about to punch him, our boy spots Cheonhae, making him wonder what he is doing there, and he ends up missing his shot. Everyone begins to shame him, though they still acknowledge that it is a good performance for the school's last-place student. He starts to sweat, wondering what the mastermind behind the recent incidents is doing here. He realizes the demons were supposed to invade at 4 p.m. after the exam. He becomes completely lost in his thoughts as the giant prepares to strike him, but his partner saves him by freezing the giant's arm. She runs toward him to snap him out of it. As she holds him, he raises his palm and attacks the giant, killing the second one as well. Everyone is left speechless, as no one expected the school's worst student to win. The entire place fills with cheers for him. He suddenly gains a massive amount of points, and his system floods with notifications. His partner is delighted and hugs him since everyone is praising her manifestation skills as well. But he can barely process any of it because the exam isn't the main issue. The problem is that the timeline has diverged from the original. He sweats hard while wondering if his choices actually shifted something in the original timeline. As he worries about the future of the school, Hyung suddenly asks him why he is sweating buckets out of nowhere. He gives a weak excuse and says he will go get some proper rest. When she tells him it was her fault he even got into that messy situation, he reassures her that she did great. She blushes when she hears that, and tells him to skip training if he needs extra time to rest longer. However, our boy already has other plans in mind. He realizes that he needs to figure out exactly how much the timeline changed, so he heads straight outside. There, he finds Sunwoo surrounded by his fans just like he expected. The students practically beg him to join their guild instead of the others. He tries to shake them off by saying he is barely 18, so he cannot even join a guild yet. But the desperate recruiters shove their cards right into his face, forcing him to take every single one anyway. In that chaos, our boy bails him out by saying that the teacher wants to see him, probably because of his test results. The crowd is surprised that the infamous bottom dweller was the one sent to call him. Anyways, Sunwoo understands his signal, and excuses himself because he cannot afford to make his teacher wait. Somewhere nearby, the Special Task Force agent and his team leader are surprised to see how skilled our boy actually was in the fight. After all, he is a disciple of the strongest mage guild leader, Master Jincheol. However, the task force leader points out that he still does not have much real-life combat experience. He then asks his subordinate why he joined him, so the guy explains he wants to investigate the demon incident at the river, because Sunwoo might be quite experienced if he really was the one who defeated the demon. Changing subjects, the leader asks him about his opinion on our boy. His subordinate reminds him that he is just an average bottom feeder, but the leader says that our boy was able to analyze the monster's weak spots at a single glance. That is something only a seasoned veteran can pull off with confidence. His subordinate is stunned by the keen observation, but the two of them laugh anyway because there is no way a high school student is secretly a veteran. Still, they do note that the boy is quite similar to Jinwoo, who is also related to Seojun, so they decide to keep an eye on the mysterious student. The scene then goes to the boys, who used a different entrance. They finally manage to shake off the persistent recruiters chasing after Sunwoo. The two quietly blend in with the crowd and prepare to watch the next match. However, our boy keeps an eye out for the demons, who could begin their attack at any moment. This time, he has no idea when it will happen because of the timeline shift, so he decides to make Sunwoo take care of Cheonhae instead. With that, the match between their seniors begins. Outside, the undercover demon updates Cheonhae on the entire situation. When he asks her how the plan is going, she explains that there are monster devices planted throughout the school. However, because Jin is difficult to control, he is stationed far away from the action. Hearing that, the demon boss is pleased and gets up. With an ominous magic orb in his hand, he finally kicks off his brutal plan to hunt down the Chosen One. Meanwhile, inside the exam hall, Senior Chung Hyun absolutely dominates Minya and goes in for the finishing blow. She surrenders at the very last second, and he is announced as the winner. Seeing that, Sunwoo is completely blown away by the stunning performance. He compliments both seniors on their clever tactics and sharp skills, but our boy is not interested at all. He is worried because the whole match is basically complete, but there is still no sign of the demon boss showing up. When Sunwoo asks who he is searching for, he pretends he is simply looking for any guild that might take him. Sunwoo reassures him, noting that he has improved a lot since the start of their semester. He even asks about how he managed to improve himself in such a short amount of time. However, their attention is suddenly stolen by the massive purple barrier that abruptly encases the entire exam hall. Our hero is horrified, because he never saw anything like this in the first timeline. The students start wondering if the school administration messed up, and try to call their teachers. As the barrier spreads, the monster devices begin opening. Suddenly, portals appear out of thin air. The monsters start pouring in as full hordes, ready to feast on the students like it is some twisted Thanksgiving dinner. there is an announcement on the speaker about the monsters. All students are ordered to evacuate as the barrier continues to grow larger and larger. Cheonhae thinks his plan is genius. Once his barrier traps even the teachers inside, the chosen child will have no choice but to step out. But when he sees a powerful figure tear through the monsters, he grinds his teeth in pure frustration. He never once expected that the special task force would be here at the school. Soon, the boys are informed that the task force originally came to observe Seojun's match. But now they are taking care of the monsters, so things should be fine. Our boy wonders if it is leader Deokhyun who came to observe his match. He is honestly glad that they showed up, because now they have a real chance at fighting back. With that said, he is still not sure how he should deal with the giant barrier he has never seen before. The students yell, asking the mages to do something about the barrier. However, their teacher explains that they need at least one more A-rank mage. A man tells her it is not easy to find high-ranking mages because they are rare, but she asks him to search harder because it will take at least 30 minutes alone just to dispel the barrier. In reality, our boy knows that the barrier of a world-class mage like Cheonhae is impossible to dispel for them. He realizes he has no choice but to do it himself. But before he can say anything, the undercover demon Yangyun shows up to save the day. While our boy wants to punch the sly demon in the face, he cannot claim she is a demon without proof. Soon, she convinces the teacher to support her in dispelling the barrier with a complex spell. Sunwoo is relieved to see that, but our hero quietly pulls him aside. At the same time, the support magic teacher notices that something feels off. When the barrier is being dispelled from one side and locked from the other, it grows stronger rather than breaking apart. Cheonhae notices that the clever lady has figured out the trap. To distract her, he immediately switches up his plan and orders some of the goblins to ignore the agents and attack Yangyun instead. But the task force leader shuts it down instantly with a clean strike. The demon thanks him and calmly continues working on the barrier. Meanwhile, the two agents do their best to protect her from the entire goblin swarm. Agent Hyunsoo even swears upon the task force that he will guard her with his life. Hearing that, the snake thanks him again with a devious smirk on her lying face. Outside the exam hall, Sunwoo finally asks our boy why he dragged him into the middle of nowhere. Seojun explains that they needed to be alone so he could dispel the barrier himself. Sunwoo is confused because their teacher and the mage girl were already doing that. Our boy explains that the mage is actually a demon who is secretly making the barrier stronger from the inside. Hearing that, Sunwoo pulls him back, claiming that they have to report it to the teachers right away. But he reminds him they have no proof, so the teachers probably will not believe him. That is why he asks Sunwoo to tell everyone after he completely finishes dispelling the barrier. They would definitely believe his words because he is a genius, not the bottom feeder nobody. After that, he summons a large magic circle to analyze the formula of the barrier. In just a few minutes, he fully dispels the entire barrier. Yang-hyun and everyone in the exam hall are absolutely shocked, while our boy simply dusts off his hands like the whole thing was a tiny piece of cake. He tells Sunwoo to inform everyone because there are more things to take care of. But Sunwoo wants to know at least why he tries so hard to make sure no one ever notices his real skills. Our boy says he is satisfied as he is, and asks him to make sure this stays between the two of them. Back at the exam hall, Cheonhae is furious at his underling who only had one job. Meanwhile, the others thank the teacher and Yang-hyun for a job well done. Now that they are finally free, it is time to pound some monsters into pulp. The teachers go wild, hunting down monsters like absolute killing machines. The task force realizes that things will settle down faster than they expected. The leader confirms that they still have no leads on who the perpetrator is. So their primary objective for now is to track down that mysterious person. Hearing that, the support teacher jumps into the conversation to point out the most suspicious individual this whole time. She grabs Yang-hyun by the shirt and demands to know what her intention was with the barrier. Man tries to tell the lady to calm down because Yang-hyun is just a student, but she snaps back in anger, yelling that Yang-hyun is probably a demon. That accusation brings poor Yang-hyun to tears. Everyone feels bad about the teacher being so harsh towards someone who worked hard to help them. Agent Hyunsoo asks for permission to take action, but his leader tells him to wait just a little longer. The undercover demon then mocks the teacher. She claims she failed to break the barrier because she could not sync with her trash tier skill level. At that moment, our boy steps in to serve justice. He asks the teacher if the barrier got stronger every single time she tried to dispel it. Everyone is surprised to see him, and his teacher cannot believe he knows exactly what was happening the whole time. Our boy explains that he discovered the barrier had a major flaw. To stay undercover, he lies and says he just happened to know the formula behind it. Once the students hear that, their suspicion returns to the sly snake. They start checking if an A-rank mage named Yang-hyun exists in the first place. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Yang-hyun becomes clueless about what to do. However, Cheonhae already has another plan in mind. Seeing him reveal himself, the task force leader immediately clocks him as the perpetrator. But before the agents reach him, the demon boss vanishes into thin air. The two get serious on learning that they are dealing with a dangerous A-rank demon. At the same time, Sunwoo notices Yang-hyun using the last ace she has left. Suddenly, demons begin popping up in the crowd. The snake becomes bigger, ready to kill as many humans as she possibly can before going down. However, her biggest mistake is picking the wrong target. Sunwoo draws his sword in a flash and neatly slices the demon's neck without hesitation. Soon, the Special Forces agents and the teachers subdue the other demons hiding throughout the crowd. Sunwoo then thanks the Special Forces leader Deokyun, who he actually met around a year ago. The leader thanks him for his service and says they will discuss his reward for slaying the demon later. As the man walks away, Sunwoo feels a little guilty receiving that reward, because deep down, he knows the one who actually saved the entire day was our boy. Outside, Seojun is chasing after someone. He panics hard when he turns around, because there was an explosion at the place where he senses the chosen one. Nearby, Hyung's friend barely manages to save her from the psycho demon. He is disappointed by how completely pathetic her power is compared to her famous reputation. He even wonders if it is because of the terrified girl clinging to her and dragging her down. Hyung is shocked and has no idea what she should do in this nightmare situation. Even then, she assures Era she will still back her up, but her friend tells her to run away. There is nothing she can do to help against the mad demon. After that, Jin effortlessly pushes straight through the flames between them. The creep chokes her, excited to taste her blood filled with high-quality mana. As she blacks out, Hyung shoots a weak attack at him. She yells for him to let her go because she is the one he should be fighting. The crazy bastard laughs at her sad attempt to save her friend. He shoots a laser beam at her to finish her off for good, but against every expectation, she counters with a powerful attack fueled by the power of friendship. He stands there speechless as his entire arm gets lopped clean off. What makes him panic, however, is that the wound refuses to heal. Hyung wonders what her sudden power even is, because it feels nothing like her usual ice magic. At that moment, Jin grins widely. Her power to slay demons means he has found the legendary child of prophecy. He is excited that he will be the one to personally kill her, but a voice tells him that will not be happening anytime soon. Our boy shows up just in time to save her and declares that he is the one who will do the killing. Jin is furious at the one interrupting him and fires a powerful beam of his dark magic forward. Our boy effortlessly blocks it with his magic shield. He then shoots volleys of bullets that annihilate him instantly. The villain is baffled by the sheer quantity of mana a mere student like him possesses. He lets him know that he packs a lot of experience, before delivering the finishing blow. Right before he fires, Jin uses all his remaining strength to leap at Hyung to take her out with him. But that is not enough to mess up our hero's aim. He lands the shot and successfully eliminates his enemy. The system congratulates him on defeating the enemy and raises his causality, also giving him the title of savior. Moving on, he feels glad that Hyung managed to survive well, considering her awakening was quite abrupt. The demons will continue to attack the academy now that they are aware, but he is confident Hyung and Seojun will grow well through adversity. In the hospital, Ara reads headlines about Seojun, her and the others defending their academy during the demon attack. She feels weak that she is being praised as a hero even though she did absolutely nothing. Her friend assures her she did great, but the girl tells her to go back to her bed. Her friend reminds her that she saved her from the demon's attack, but she fainted like a clown afterwards. The academy gave them ample time to recover since the exams are over. Ara then asks her about her fight with the demon. She asks why she did not escape, since it is not like they are so close that she would risk her life for her. Hyung shyly replies that anyone in her position would have done the exact same. She remembers a kind-hearted person who once saved her when she had no one left, so she wanted to become like that for someone else too. That resolve gave her the strength to fight the demon head-on. She tells Ara there is no shame in asking for help in a pinch. Ara's mood quickly sours when she hears her say help like it is some offensive word. Flashing back to the past, she remembers when her house burned down completely. Her parents were trapped under the rubble, so they asked someone to take her away with them. The little girl could not bear being dragged away from her parents as she watched them slowly die. With a pained expression, Hyung's friend repeats that she does not need anyone's help, but she tells Ara to at least pay thanks to their savior, Sunwoo. Both of them would not be here if he hadn't saved them in the nick of time. Ara is shocked to hear that and questions what she means by that, so Hyung tells the man himself to explain the story. Our boy walks through the curtains with an awkward hello. He mentions that he visited because he has something for her today. More specifically, he has her share of the reward money for the demon subjugation. Ara is dumbfounded why he is sharing it with her when he is the one who slayed the demon. He admits that was true, but he also admits the demon was half dead thanks to the girl's attacks. Even though he only finished Jin off, Ara refuses to take the money out of principle. She straight up tells him to split it with Hyung if he is feeling so generous. Before she leaves though, she blushes red like tomato soup and quietly thanks him for protecting her. Our boy feels stuck, thinking his approach to improve his relationship with her was too aggressive. But the system proves him wrong by notifying him that her interest has risen and giving some bonus points. Hyung assures him her friend is like that because she has a shy personality and a strong sense of pride. With that, he finally has the 20,000 points to buy the magic pocket. Out in the hallway, Ara thinks Sunwoo is quite the liar for saying the demon was half dead. She clearly remembers that it did not even go berserk until then. It would be fair to assume he slayed the demon single-handedly. Since combat is clearly not his specialty, she can call him nothing short of a genius with the way he performed in the exam. Hyung's rapid growth was also thanks to his training. It puzzles her why he chooses to blend with the crowd, having talent like that. The only reason to keep quiet like this, in her mind, is if his family was also taken by those people. Back to the present, he asks her if she has not revealed her power like they promised earlier. The girl agrees that telling everyone about her awakening during a fight with a demon might attract the wrong kind of attention. She is pumped to get strong enough to slay a demon herself one day. Our boy acts excited for her, but he is glad that Hyung awakened 1 month before the expected time. The head start will help him improve her fighting ability and become a great boon against the Demon King. Excited, he promises to make an amazing training schedule for her and tells her she is free to ask anything she would like. Shyly grabbing his sleeve, Hyung mentions she heard that he ran to find her right after the barrier was lifted. With all the attention he is giving her, she hesitantly asks if the reason is what she thinks it is. The Chad immediately grips her hand and confidently replies that there is nothing like that between them at all. He helped her in the midterms because he saw her potential, and the explosion during her fight with the demon made him rush over without thinking twice. Hearing that, Hyung feels oddly relieved inside. My guy teasingly asks if she was expecting some other reason, which only makes her blush even harder. The girl quickly plays it off as just a joke. Our protagonist did not expect the innocent girl to fall for him like this so fast, but he knows she belongs with the main characters, not some NPC like him. The girl looks a little let down for a second. Still, she hands him an envelope stuffed with millions in cash, looking forward to using his teaching services. Receiving such a chunky amount, our boy gets fired up and swears he will turn her into an absolute killing machine. He tells her they will start first thing the next morning. But suddenly his jaw drops when he sees a 15 million deposit pop up on his phone screen. Soon, the classes begin as normal. This time, our hero gets promoted to the Special Talents class for the first time in his life. Being in the same class as all of the big players, now he can control the future far better than ever before. As soon as he sits down, however, Blondie calls him a rat who crawled out of the sewers. He is appalled that a loser who only finished off a half-dead demon is allowed to sit beside his so-called holiness. Our boy calmly states that he fulfilled their teacher's conditions for promotion fair and square. Furious, the blonde guy threatens to drag him out of the class himself if he does not leave peacefully. At that moment, Seojun calls out to Iwon and another student joins him. Iwon argues that he ruined their class average, but Seojun clearly remembers his exact score. Ara comments that his rank overall is actually higher than Iwon, so technically he is the dead weight dragging their average down. That ticks the blonde dingus off real bad. He snaps and points out that she sure cares an awful lot about the loser. Then, he suddenly tries to throw a cheap sucker punch, but our boy catches the fist and grips it so tight it almost crunches. He gets so angry his hand flares up with heat. Faint flames appear around his knuckles. Before things escalate, the guy gets smacked on the head and kicked straight down the stairs. He ends up lying on the filthy floor like Yamcha, exactly where he should be, right in front of the whole class. Turns out the task force visits the Special Talents class pretty often for certain events. Agent Hyunsu tells our boy he had a blast watching his genius performance during the midterms. With that said, Hyunsu wonders if he made his introduction a little too brutal earlier. The man was honestly shocked when his leader assigned him to watch over the class, because there are demons hiding somewhere inside the academy. His job during this mission is to figure out who the demon insider at the school is. Soon, the agent properly introduces himself to the class. The students grow curious and ask if they will be joining him on a real demon subjugation with the task force. Instructor Hyunsu quickly makes it clear that amateurs like them are never sent straight to the battlefield. That is why they will start by scouting a monster-infested area under his direct supervision. Because of the dangerous nature of their drill, he asks them to speak up immediately if anything feels strange or suspicious. In reality, it is just a controlled training area for the task force. There used to be a dungeon there, but they cleared it a long time ago and placed surveillance magic cameras everywhere. Since the special class students have more privileges than others, he is confident that the rat must be hiding somewhere in this class. Our boy has already predicted every single move of the task force in advance. He knows about the mole too, who is quite smart and will most likely stay under the radar the entire time. The main thing on his mind right now is making sure Seojun finds the S-rank treasure hidden inside a secret room in the dungeon. He also has to help Seo-yoon since she will be partnered with him this time. Just as he predicted, their instructor announces that everyone will form pairs of 2. Our hero plans on sticking as close to the original script as possible for now, but the thought crosses his mind that his presence in the draw might disrupt the original pairings. Sure enough, dude ends up stealing Seo-joon's girl. The poor girl looks confused about why he seems so disappointed, even though he got such an excellent partner like her. All the other guys in class are also seriously ticked off that a nobody gets to stick close to their queen. Deep in thought, the girl assumes it would make sense if a legend like Seo-joon saw her as a burden. But she is dumbfounded that her senior, who looks painfully average at everything, is somehow not satisfied with her instead. Anyway, the mission begins, and Seo-yoon quietly walks behind her senior without saying much. She finds it somewhat comforting that he is not getting overly friendly with her. It is still suspicious to her that he was a bottom feeder who suddenly climbed into the special talents class. Him stepping into the spotlight out of nowhere makes her naturally cautious. The system then informs him that her curiosity about him is rising and rewards him with a few bonus points. Not that he needs it though, since he can feel her stare digging into the back of his skull from behind the whole time. He clears the tension by suggesting they investigate something he spotted in the distance. The sharp girl smiles like she is delighted to follow her senior on the surface, but on the inside, she is fully ready to crush any sinister plan he might be cooking up. Her overly excited energy honestly surprises him a little. The suspicious look on her face makes it obvious she definitely has something strange running through her head. He remembers that she was really desperate to pair up with Seo-joon, since being in his company would boost her reputation fast. Realizing that, he figures he can use that excuse to bring her closer to Seo-joon, like in the original timeline. The girl starts small talk by mentioning how impressive it is to begin as a loser and end up in the special class in just 1 semester. Then, her aura quietly shifts. She calmly states that staying in the special class might be dangerous for him, especially if he makes enemies with the wrong people. You see, Choi So-yoon was blessed with looks, raw talent, and basically everything in a genius child starter pack. But the real secret behind her effortless perfection was the unreasonably high standards demanded by her family. That pressure shaped her into a manipulative menace who acts nice to everyone, but only keeps useful people inside her circle. She knows exactly what it takes to survive in elite society. Anyway, Sunwoo curiously asks her what she means by enemies. The girl bluntly explains that he is too dense to realize there are others dissatisfied with his presence in the class besides just Iwon, but he confidently answers that all of that means nothing to him. The only way for him to fulfill his purpose in life if he stays in the special class. Hearing that, So-yoon has a flashback of her father telling her to stay quiet and simply follow the life path he set for her. She feels a strange sadness when she thinks about things like ambitions and having a purpose of her own. Suddenly, it makes sense to her why the teachers seem to like him so much. She grows even more curious about what his real goal in life actually is. Just then, he senses a sharp, murderous intent coming straight from behind them. He quickly grabs her arm and pulls her close, shielding her from a fiery projectile. The attacker is none other than brain-dead blonde guy, Park Iwon. The guy tells him this is his only chance to leave the class if he wants to live to see another day. Our hero taunts him, asking what he's gonna do if he refuses. Boiling with rage, Iwon starts raining fire arrows down on the two like a lunatic. Meanwhile, the surveillance team's Yejin observes all the students through her magic vision from multiple angles. The support mage wonders if there really is a demon hiding among these kids at all. She tells Hyunsoo that nothing seems out of the ordinary, and the students are just practicing normally with their monsters. Hyunsoo still believes that a demon would try to contact its superiors if it were allowed outside, so she should stay focused on anyone attempting to leave the training area. Just then, she notices some strange activity on one of the feeds. 3 students are fighting each other like it is a battle to the death. On the battlefield, our boy senses that Iwon's firing speed is insanely fast, and he is surprisingly skilled for mere trash. For the sake of his plan, he orders Seo-yoon to stay out of the danger zone, but she only ends up provoking the blonde idiot further by completely crushing his fragile ego. She yells that his embarrassing inferiority complex, first with Seo-joon and now with Sunwoo, is downright embarrassing. Blondie absolutely loses it when he sees that even his queen is siding with Sunwoo instead of him. He summons raging tornadoes of fire that even blast apart the nearby surveillance magic. Hyunsoo immediately prepares to head out. He made a promise that he would not let a single student get seriously harmed under his watch. Yejin yells at him because moving now could ruin the whole operation to find the mole, so he tells her to keep him updated if she spots anything strange. Still, he quietly hopes it does not escalate too far. He especially worries because Iwon has a nasty vendetta against Sunwoo, and a lady of one of the 5 great mage families is involved too. Returning to the fight, Iwon goes completely all out against the two without hesitation. Seo-yoon tries to hold up a shield against his barrage. Right when it looks like the shield is about to crack, she hears our hero repeat that he told her to stay behind him and let him deal with the threat. In his former life, he quietly watched all of Iwon's future crimes from the sidelines. He never interfered because he was just an NPC who did not matter at all. But now, he knows this guy is nothing but useless garbage who contributes absolutely nothing to the future. So he unleashes one of his strongest spells to retaliate without holding back. Iwan is left dumbfounded by the sheer weight of his magic. Sunwoo shows him zero mercy. It would have been one thing if Iwan attacked only him, but the idiot crossed a line the moment he dragged the girl into his little tantrum. He smashes the guy straight into the ground and holds him at gunpoint, calmly asking for one good reason he should let him walk away alive. Blondie instantly drops to all fours and admits he was a dumb fool who will never dare to mess with Master again. As he grovels and begs for forgiveness, our boy nearly blasts him to bits on the spot. But his partner suggests he should not waste precious mana on trash like this, so he changes his plan instead. Grabbing Iwan by the hair, he threatens the clown to run as far as he can, because he will not hesitate to end him immediately the next time they meet. The dumb idiot even asks if their fight can stay a secret, which really grinds his nerves. Our boy tells him to scram, and Iwan bolts without looking back, reminding him to keep up his end of the deal. Back in the surveillance room, Yejin informs Hyunsu that the student who was fighting earlier suddenly ran off, but now he is completely covered in injuries from head to toe. Back in the training grounds, Iwan is having the absolute worst day of his life. First he had to deal with our boy, and now a secret task force agent is chasing him down. Our hero just hopes their little scuffle does not mess up the timeline too much. Just then, he feels Seo-yoon's warm fingers lightly touch the wound on his neck. The girl starts teasing him with a faint smile. She says she is quite impressed that a rank 20 like him beat the number 5 student in their class, which clearly means there is something seriously messed up with the ranking system. He awkwardly tries to change the subject, saying it is a shame she got partnered with him instead of Seo-jun, but she calmly replies that she is just happy he protected her back there. Right then, the system notifies him that her interest in him is rising again. Out of nowhere, she admits she thought he was a pain when the semester first began. Back then, he only seemed like an egoistic prick desperate for attention. Her opinion changed, however, after seeing what he was really like today. He curiously asks what kind of person he seems like now, and she simply says he is actually pretty funny. With that said, she suggests they get moving because they still need to prove his skills, so the others stop treating him like Iwan. Just then, a massive cobra monster jump scares her, leaving her completely frozen in place. Our boy calmly prepares to attack without panicking. Before he moves, however, he sees a sharp slash of light magic fly straight at the monster's neck. He smiles, knowing his target has arrived right on cue. The real hero of the story finally joins the party. He mentions that he has been patrolling the area to protect the other students and has not found anything truly dangerous so far. He even laughs wryly, saying he expected the so-called danger zone to have something actually dangerous for once. Seo-yoon wastes no time getting friendly, casually flirting while trying to recruit him into her family's guild. Our boy feels relieved seeing the main characters finally together like this. Now all that is left is making sure they discover the dungeon's secret stage. Turns out, he's been navigating the forest carefully this entire time, just to position them perfectly to cross paths with the hero. Acting surprised, he suddenly points toward a faint blue glow in the distance and tells them to look. Once he gets both of them curious about the mysterious cave, he suggests they check out what is inside together. Inside the already cleared dungeon, they soon discover the hidden stage, which is noticeably more difficult than expected. But the struggle is worth it because the rewards are insanely valuable. In the first timeline, the hero and his partner cleared this secret stage with excellent teamwork and clean coordination. That event, along with his S-rank weapon, completely skyrockets his popularity throughout the entire country. But what is even more valuable is the fact that the young lady also goes through some real character development. After all his careful effort to bring them together, Sunwoo feels confident their partnership will finally blossom properly. He grins wide and quietly pumps himself up, ready to take everything on. But the hero immediately shoots down his offer, saying they must report something this dangerous to the task force first. He quickly tries to stop Seo-jun and convince him otherwise. In the meantime, the girl hears a faint voice calling from the water. She curiously touches the strange ripple, not realizing she is stepping straight into serious danger. Seo-jun instantly senses that something feels very off. The monster reveals itself to be a phantom witch, using its trap to charm the girl without resistance. Before the boys can even catch up, the witch slips away with her like smoke. Our boy is shocked that a monster attacked them first, which clearly means the timeline has shifted yet again. After watching it escape deeper into the dungeon, they realize there is only one thing left to do now. He tells Seo-jun to follow him immediately, even though the goody two-shoes wants to wait for the task force before jumping into something reckless. Our hero firmly makes it clear that it will already be too late if they wait around. The monster that captured her drains mana from its victims until they are completely empty shells. Realizing there is truly no time left, Seo-jun finally agrees and rushes in with him. Meanwhile, out in the forest, Hyunsu is busy interrogating Iwan about his reason for attacking his fellow students earlier. Iwan stubbornly keeps insisting he is not suspicious at all, so the agent coldly questions why he ran away like that. Blondie remembers he swore an oath not to mention what happened, so he stays completely silent. Hyunsoo grows tired of waiting for a confession, so he takes Iwon into temporary custody for the time being. Then he calmly informs Yejin that their main suspect has been captured, but she responds that there is a serious emergency unfolding right now. 3 of their students just entered the inactive dungeon area without permission. He casually tells her to relax because it should just be a harmless empty cave now. But loud alarm bells start ringing in his head when she reveals the signs of a hidden secret stage were confirmed only moments ago. As they head deeper into the dungeon, Seo-jun feels his surroundings getting colder and colder with every step. He realizes that he will not be able to handle it much longer. Luckily, his best sidekick calmly brings out a thick fur coat. Turns out, he prepared well in advance by storing several coats inside his dimensional pocket. It has cold resistance and a steady warming effect as well. When Seo-jun asks where he got the millions to buy the pocket, he simply says his stock portfolio is bussin' lately. Soon, they see the girl's silhouette ahead, desperately yelling at them to help her. Seo-jun immediately rushes in to save her without hesitation. But he is shocked when our boy suddenly fires a powerful blast right at her. The girl shields his attack with ease and casually compliments his sharp instincts. It appears that the witch can directly control Seo-jun's body like a puppet. Sunwoo quickly brings Seo-jun up to speed and suggests they must defeat the witch itself if they wish to save her safely. The witch is enjoying her powerful ice magic and declares she will suck them both dry after she is done with the girl. Luckily, Seo-jun's light magic is the perfect counter to an undead creature like the witch. But because she is hiding inside Seo-jun's body, they have to be cautious not to hurt her by accident. The hero is able to push her back with his excellent swordsmanship. Still, the witch can clearly see that he is not giving it his all because he is afraid of hurting her. Our boy remains deep in thought, quietly analyzing the witch's fighting style. She takes that brief moment to launch a surprise attack, forcing him to hide behind a thick wall of ice. That turns out to be a big mistake, because now he is completely cornered with nowhere to retreat. The witch rains sharp icicles from above like she has unlimited mana to waste, but he still manages to dodge through them. When Seo-jun asks him if he has a strategy, he calmly says they have to find the witch's real body first. He has to find it even when the whole battlefield is covered in layers of ice and snow. Seo-jun is lost on what to do next. He remembers that he destroyed the entire battlefield in the previous timeline, but now he gives the hero his full confidence to handle it. Meanwhile, on the outside, Iwon finally spills that this was all just a fight between students because his precious ego was badly hurt. Hyunsoo immediately realizes he got too hasty with his earlier decision. He then questions if the students going inside the dungeon are not actually related to him at all. Blondie denies his claim with tears forming in his eyes. A teacher gets angry at the agent because he promised the students would be safe. The agent tries to explain they will do their best to open the dungeon from the outside as quickly as possible. Otherwise, what happens to the students now rests completely in the hands of fate alone. Soon, all of the students and teachers gather outside the dungeon when they hear the sudden news. Ara is clearly frustrated because she still has many questions for the guy who saved her life earlier. Back inside the dungeon, he repeats that he truly believes in Seo-jun's ability. He tells him to go all out without hesitation while he distracts the witch. The monster immediately senses a strange shift in the surrounding mana flow. She tries to surprise them with a sneak attack from behind. Sunwoo yells at Seo-jun to forget about hiding his strength and unleash his true potential without holding back. The hero remembers that the only time the hero ever went all out was during the previous demon invasion. He was afraid that his friends might feel left behind if they discovered his actual strength. He is impressed that his friend saw right through him so easily. When Seo-jun states that he will truly give it his all, the witch is amused and casually taunts him to try his very best. His sword is suddenly enveloped in a powerful crimson glow. Her eyes nearly pop out when she sees the sheer amount of energy gathered around his weapon. Sunwoo loudly yells at him to blast away the entire dungeon if he needs to. Hearing that, the witch panics to protect its original body and exits the girl's body in a hurry. Our boy immediately shoots her midair, which really ticks her off. That small opening is all Seo-jun needs. He slices the undead harpy straight down the middle with his overwhelming light magic in one clean strike. On the outside, the support teacher is only able to dispel 2% of the entrance barrier. She regrettably explains that this is as far as the analysis goes, no matter how many extra mages they bring. Hyunsoo quietly prepares to take the punishment from his superior without complaint. He tells the team leader that he carelessly let Seo-jun enter a dangerous B-rank secret stage of the dungeon. To his surprise, the man is not worried at all. He calmly tells him to sit tight because the boy will make it out safely on his own. While Hyunsoo questions what that means, the entrance suddenly glows with a brilliant golden light. The students wonder if some boss is about to pop out, but Ara knows all too well who the brilliant light magic belongs to. Inside the dungeon, Seo-jun watches his sword disintegrate because it cannot endure his overwhelming mana. At that moment, the boys spot a sword stuck in the distance. Our boy tells him he can have it since he did most of the work anyway. With that, the hero walks over and removes the legendary sword from the ground. He is amazed by Sunwoo's generous heart for letting him have a sword that is undoubtedly S rank. Our protagonist also receives his rewards from the system for defeating a boss together with the main character. However, he is far more focused on Seoyun because her condition is quite serious. The witch forced every ounce of mana out of her body during their brutal fight. The hero returns after gathering all of the loot scattered around the dungeon. Seojun then asks our boy how he plans to help her. Turns out, he has an ice spirit's heart, which will restore her magic completely and permanently boost her ice magic skills as well. Its effect is powerful, and the girl slowly opens her eyes soon after. She is mildly embarrassed about why both of them are staring at her so closely. The boys grin at her reaction, genuinely glad to see how fast she recovered. She curiously asks them where on earth they even are, so he explains they are inside a dungeon because she was captured by the boss earlier. The best wingman on earth adds that Seojun rushed in to defeat it and save her without hesitation. The girl is in disbelief that students their age actually cleared a secret dungeon by themselves. Soon the exit door opens, and Seojun finds it quite pretty. But before they happily head out and leave him behind, our boy asks them for help because he cannot move after severe mana depletion. This too was carefully a part of his plan to pass out right after Seoyun recovers. That way, the ones who truly deserve to be in the spotlight will be them, and he can continue his mission quietly behind the scenes. After that, the legendary Blue Moon sword Seojun acquired from the dungeon is appraised to have 2 S-rank traits. News about his heroic feat spreads like wildfire across the academy and beyond. Eyes from all the major figures in the world suddenly lock onto the rising hero. On the other hand, Iwan's crimes come to light after a thorough investigation. The bastard finally gets hit with heavy punishment for all the scummy stuff he pulled over the years. Sunwoo is glad to see justice finally served, and despite all the changes, the timeline is still mostly on track. Most importantly, the bond between Seoyun and her hero will likely be stronger than ever before. Right then, the girl in question appears and casually asks what is on his mind. She playfully tells him that she is really grateful to him after hearing in detail about everything that happened from Seojun. He wonders out loud what exactly she means by that. She blushes a little, revealing that she knows he suggested they go into the dungeon and fiercely battled with the boss to save her life. He quickly assures her that he did not really do much, and that her real savior was Seojun all along. Getting oddly fired up, he tries his hardest to convince her that beating the boss without the hero would have been straight up impossible. The girl only smiles quietly, and does not buy his act one bit, because she clearly saw the worried look in his eyes back then. Still, she lets it go and simply wishes him goodbye for now. The system rewards him with bonus points again because her interest in him rises to level 2. He realizes he has altered his relationship with a main character once again, and silently resolves to try even harder to stay unnoticeable during the next big event. The scene transitions to the school gym. Our boy walks in proudly with a big smile because he earned tons of points after Seojun's popularity skyrocketed. Using those points, he bought a powerful trait called the Secret of Evolution. This allows him to gain special traits after completing certain conditions. That basically means he can adapt to almost any environment after enduring it long enough without folding. Just then, the hero spots him and casually asks why he is hanging around the gym. Bro tells him he wants to get ripped and asks how things have been going lately. The Academy's hero plays it cool like everything is back to normal, but the guy next to him points at his fans, who carefully observe every movement he makes so they can copy it. At the same time, Ara's training also gets more intense because she refuses to stay stuck in the hero's shadow. Seojun then mentions it is strange that the gym teacher has not shown up today. That man practically lives in the gym unless he has to leave for class or meetings. Another student reveals the reason, and says he was sent on watch duty instead. Apparently, a corpse with no blood was discovered somewhere on the school grounds earlier. Seojun feels seriously concerned to hear that, since it could easily be the work of a demon. But the other student immediately starts hyping him up and says there is nothing to worry about when they have him around to save the academy again. While the guy jokes around without a care, our protagonist is genuinely uneasy. A demon could attack any time because there is still one hiding inside the school and spying on them. Right then, Senior Park Minnie walks in and gently hands the academy's star a towel. While all of the boys instantly swoon over her like thirsty Twitch mods, Seojun calmly thanks her for the thoughtful gesture. Everybody's dream girl cheerfully wishes him good luck on his continued success with a bright smile. But that is only how she acts on the surface to keep up appearances. In reality, she is the blood-sucking demon roaming the academy at night. Later that evening, Cheonhae visits her right after she finishes draining her victim dry. She questions why her master is paying her a sudden visit, and he casually replies that he is simply checking in. He says he was worried about her after hearing that her father was slain recently. The demon boss then asks about her daily life and progress. She shares her frustration that it is nearly impossible to get close to Hyunsu, and that Haryong ordered her not to attack Jinwoo either. She is mad that she can only watch the rats who reported her father and do absolutely nothing about it. Furious, she makes it crystal clear that she is absolutely not fine. The boss calmly tells her that Rat Seo-jun is likely the child of prophecy, especially considering his recent achievements. However, his suspicion that the boy is the chosen one was fully confirmed when she reported that the Great Barrier suddenly collapsed because of his demon-slaying ability. She eagerly asks if that means she is finally allowed to eliminate the threat herself. Her boss questions whether she truly believes she can kill the genius. She has seen his power up close. She argues that it is not a question of can or cannot. She will do it at any cost. At that moment, a demon named Sungjin suddenly appears and compliments her strong mindset for someone so young. Cheonhae immediately bows down to Lord Sungjin without delay. The man states that he wished to see his subordinate in person before officially recruiting her. With that said, he offers the girl his power to help eliminate the child of prophecy. He forces her to join the demon organization known as the Command of the King in return. The scene then shifts to the Pandemonium Dungeon, where Ha-young is busy farming monsters as part of her intense training. The monsters are so terrified of her magic that they scatter and run as fast as their stubby legs can carry them. Our hero remarks that her mana control is steadily improving, so she should now focus on maintaining her concentration during fights. She is secretly very happy that he invited her out, and even brought her to a dungeon no one else knows about. This was a place he discovered purely by chance in the former timeline. Since the area is packed with demons, it is basically the perfect spot to train her willpower properly. He curiously asks what goes through her mind whenever she uses her powers. The clueless girl says she just thinks really hard about wanting to protect and save the people around her. In this world, this kind of willpower is exactly what strengthens the demon-slaying effect of a chosen one's magic. But she also surprises him by admitting that her second biggest reason to train is to get promoted to the special class like him. He assures her she will be there in no time if she keeps training hard inside this dungeon. Ha-young brightens up immediately because that basically means they will spend more time alone together in places like this, which low-key feels like a date to her. She already jumped from rank 80 to 50 in just a few short months. He is confident she will reach the special class by next year, all perfectly according to his careful plan. Just then, he also unlocks night vision thanks to his evolution trait kicking in. The next step on his agenda is dealing with the demon insider hiding in their class, Minhwa. In the original timeline, she eventually attacks Seo-jun to get revenge for her father. But that confuses him because the ones who got rid of her in the original timeline were him and Agent Hyunsu. He thinks something is seriously off, and he needs to attack her first before stuff hits the fan. A few days later, Minhwa suddenly approaches him when he least expects it. He wonders if she intentionally tracked him down on purpose. The senior shyly mentions that she heard he wanted to talk to her. He says it is very important as he slowly reaches into his coat pocket. She is shocked when he pulls out his device and confesses to her without warning. This stunt is phase 1 of his carefully planned scheme to get alone with her. The system informs him that she is absolutely disgusted by the confession. He even earns bonus points for experiencing the first rejection of his life. Completely repulsed, she tells him they are simply not compatible and that she would prefer to stay just his senior. After that, she storms away so irritated that she starts thinking about getting rid of him, since there is no way she would ever date a filthy human. That makes him feel a little self-conscious about his looks for a second. Anyway, the entire purpose of this stunt was to catch the attention of Yoongjun, who is secretly peeping at him from around the corner. The guy offers his condolences as a fellow man who understands their senior's overwhelming charm. Then Sunwoo casually asks him whether he has started working on their magic theory project. As expected, the guy goes into depression mode because he is only good at practical stuff. But magic theory and other complicated topics are simply impossible for his unga-bunga caveman brain to process. At the perfect moment, Sunwoo offers to let him copy his homework in exchange for a tiny favor. He politely asks for permission to access the school announcement board. The following morning in the cafeteria, rumors about him spread all over the entire school. All the students cannot believe he used the announcement board, since normally no one would even pay him any attention. All according to plan, he gains nearly 250 people interested in him overnight. Apparently, he used his favor to post a loud warning telling every guy not to even think about confessing to his queen, Minhwa. He shamelessly declares that he loves her, and that she belongs to him alone. The teachers are surprised that this is how kids these days confess to their crushes. Seo-yoon looks quite entertained by the ridiculous public confession. Meanwhile, Ha-young complains to Ara that she never expected Sunwoo had a thing for older girls. Ara is convinced it has to be some kind of prank, but Ha-young still worries about him a little. Sitting nearby, Yoongjun sweats bullets while they talk about the post Seo-jun helped him post. The Academy's genius laughs his head off at the absurd situation. Our hero thanks the guys for helping him out, and Yoongjun awkwardly cheers him on in his unrequited love. Soon, the moment he has been waiting for finally arrives. Minnie and her friend walk into the cafeteria, and wow, she does not look happy at all. Now that he dragged her straight into the spotlight, it will be much harder for her to sneak around hunting prey or attack Seo-jun. He was already infamous at the Academy, so he practically loses nothing from this stunt. He ticks her off even more by winking at her right in front of everyone watching. Minnie's friends tell her this is what happens when you are hot and act nice with the creepy guys. Her blood starts boiling because she can no longer carry out her mission to eliminate Seo-jun while stuck under the spotlight. Adding insult to injury, Sunwoo happily waves at her to wish her goodbye. Since there are way too many eyes on the lovebirds, she decides to leave without saying another word. With that handled, our hero quietly prepares for the next big event where Seo-jun will once again be the main star. Later that night, agents ask all the remaining visitors to leave because it is time to close the American Museum. The guards then begin their patrols while the relic called the Soul Vessel is carefully locked down. You see, that powerful relic which was once used to trap countless souls was in the hands of a terror organization named John 13 years ago. It was one of the biggest tragedies of the entire century. The Magic Association chairman eventually crushed the group and took down the organization's leader himself. For that achievement, he was awarded the Soul Vessel. Since then, it is stored safely inside the American Antiquities Museum. Right as the man in charge notes down that the relic is secure, a lady slowly approaches him from behind without making a sound. He politely guides her toward the exit, but she ignores him and keeps staring at the Soul Vessel. She says it is far too powerful to be collecting dust inside some random museum. That is why the man explains it is being kept under control by the most qualified people available. She coldly argues that the only truly qualified person was the man killed by Chairman Jinchul. The man angrily snaps at her that the association took it from filthy criminals so it could be used for the public's benefit. She activates her lightning magic in irritation, insisting it will be used for a greater purpose instead. The guy panics and hurriedly calls for the guards, but her massive hulking partner Scar has already taken care of the poor clowns called security standing outside. The man is completely dumbfounded because all of those guards were A-rank professionals. One of them even managed to trigger the alarms before going down. Right then, a girl holding a glowing crimson staff smashes the relic's case open with a single swing. She gets sassy, asking when the plan changed from threatening the guy in charge to wiping out the entire security team. When the guard demands to know who they are, they calmly reply that their leader's will shall continue even after his death. The lady from John feels insulted that he called her a filthy criminal. She fries him with enough lightning to shatter every single window throughout the museum building. Soon, all the academy students see the news about the sudden terror attack by John. A picture of the woman is captured by the security cameras, and the one pulling the strings from the top is someone named Bert. When Ara sees the woman's blurred face on the screen, the color instantly drains from her own. Hayoung asks if she is feeling okay. She quietly replies that she feels sick and wants to leave early. Sunwoo, however, already knows this is only the beginning, leading straight into their upcoming clash with John. The scene transitions to the John hideout where the John leader watches her face leak across the news broadcast. The other member, dressed in a sharp dapper suit, Jin, looks annoyed that they openly assaulted the museum against the original plan. Natasha casually jokes that one of the staff insulted their lord and savior, so he simply had to be punished. Out of nowhere, Scar yells that the attack was way too darn peaceful for his taste. They should have flattened the museum and all the buildings around it to properly demonstrate their power. Jin tells the big guy to cool his jets because John does not operate like reckless thugs anymore. Natasha reminds the gym bro that the task force's Blade of Dawn is still hot on their tail. That is why their leader suggests they should lie low for now. She proposes that they take some time off in South Korea instead. Scar and Natasha are immediately on board because Korea has a lot of powerful fighters worth testing themselves against. Jin, however, turns serious because he is afraid they might run into Chairman Jinchul again. The leader reminds him that the best hiding spot is always in plain sight, and she also has a particular person she would like to meet. Sunwoo is a target of great importance for John after all. With that said, she orders Jin to prepare their fake passports and IDs, and inform their contact Yoon-sung in Korea that they are coming. Meanwhile, at a quiet restaurant in Korea, our boy uses his old identity as Jinwoo to keep things low profile. He thinks he should be safe since Mr. Haryoung's curiosity about him has died down lately. He plans to get much stronger before the inevitable confrontation with John. Inside, he spots Seo-yeon anxiously waiting for him at a table. She lights up when she sees him after so long, and hands him the package filled with potions and equipment he requested. When he checks the boots, he is shocked that they carry 2 separate traits, which makes them ridiculously expensive. But the girl says she could only pick the best item since it is meant to be a personal gift for him. Then the table is served with the most luxurious 5-star food in the entire region. She stresses that it is her duty to make sure her customer is never disappointed. Our hero looks at the juicy cutlets and remembers the food tasted so absurdly good that it made Seo-jun pass out in the original timeline. He takes his first careful bite. Suddenly, countless rich flavors flood his taste buds and he nearly melts in pure pleasure. The girl quietly enjoys watching his honest reaction to her gift. He tells her he will definitely return the VIP treatment someday. She assures him he does not need to worry about paying her back because their relationship is worth much more than money. So our hero casually asks her if she might be interested in some information about the recent terror threat to her company building. He shocks her again with his strange ability to always know everything ahead of time. She shares how stressed she has been with the recent rise of John copycats causing trouble everywhere. On top of that, there is still the ongoing power dispute with her brother over who will control the company. Luckily, Sunwoo already knows that the one behind her recent threat is not John at all. The culprit is Jo Sung-hun, some NPC alchemist taking advantage of the John name to squeeze money out of Seoyeon's company. He tells her to simply go through the finances of her security team, because she will definitely find someone connected with an alchemist. Later outside, the two head out for a quiet walk together. Seoyeon is genuinely impressed by this mysterious guy who somehow always has exactly the information she needs. She wishfully asks him again to come work for her company. She is certain he would help her win against her brother, and she promises to reward him handsomely with a life of luxury he could only dream of. However, our hero says he does not need money, and his only wish is to help a friend instead. She admits it would actually be pretty boring if he folded for simple cash. So she promises to win him over next time with a much more enticing offer. He would honestly love to accept the deal, but that would mean abandoning his mission to support Seo-jun. After that, he tests out his new kicks, which have the ability to let him walk on air for 5 whole seconds. He casually tries them out by airwalking all the way across to the next rooftop. The next day in law class, the students groan when their teacher announces another assignment due in 7 days. Young-hyun begs the teacher to give more time for slow monkeys like him, but the teacher shoots his request down. Sunwoo decides he will grind it out in 1 day so he can relax for the rest of the week. Right as he wonders who to pick as his partner, Ara suddenly informs him that he will pair up with her. The other guys get salty that the top 2 brains in the class are huddling together instead of sharing their genius, but one sharp stare from her instantly shuts them up. Then the girl asks him if he is fine teaming up with her, because she remembered that consent is a thing. He agrees without hesitation, and she tells him to meet her in the training area after class. He is secretly glad about the unexpected development, because he wanted to work with Ara sooner or later anyway, but his plan comes crashing down the moment she suddenly wall slams him. She stares straight into his soul and tells him to spill everything, because she already knows what his real identity is.